So, we're just going to do that over again because solidarity, since I cut off the local recording since I didn't know how long that was going to be. Best graphics, Red Dead Redemption 2. That's what I picked. Because, again, animation and overall graphics fidelity and just the general presentation was phenomenal. I don't have anything else to add to that. Now, moving on. Best art style. So in other words, best graphics as far as the things that you actually like, whether it's good or bad. So we've got Sayonara Wild Hearts, which I didn't look at. Into the Breach, which had 1 vote. FTL Faster Than Light, which had 1 vote. Celeste, which had only 1 vote for Celeste, really? Rayman Origins, which had 2 votes. Xenoblade Chronicles, which had 2 votes. Ni no Kuni 2, also known as Ni no Tuni, which had 3 votes. Shovel Knight, which had 3 votes. Borderlands 3, which had 4 votes. Homeworld Deserts of Karak, which had 6 votes. Journey, which had 6 votes. Borderlands, which had 7. Transistor, which had 8. Gree, which had 11. Darkest Dungeon, which had 17. Hollow Knight, which had 18. And in the top 4, 4th place for best overall art style is Zelda Breath of the Wild. That actually surprises me a little bit. In number 3, Ori and the Blind Forest, which doesn't surprise me at all. And in number 2, this had 44 votes at this point, Cuphead. That one doesn't surprise me at all. Here's the thing. I actually don't like Cuphead's art style at all. In fact, I actively dislike it. But that's a matter of preference. If you happen to like that kind of art style, then yeah, I know they do a really, really good job of emulating that art style. So, I mean, there's a lot of quality on display. It's just I can't stand it. Yeah, that's a clear example of coffee. Speaking of coffee, the number 1 best art style of the decade is Persona 5. At 67 votes, a full quarter of the votes. Octopath Traveler is not even on the list. It's like Trafin over there. He's not on the list either. A huge oversight, if you ask me. And I'll put that towards RE3R. Thank you, Trafin, very, very much. For me, I actually thought about this one a while, because there's been a lot of good art style games in the last decade. Ultimately, I gave it to Shovel Knight, which wasn't even on the list. Best sound design. Let's see here. This is a pretty small category, but we had a lot of votes. So in bottom, we have Homeworld Deserts of Karak with 3. Journey with 10 votes. Crypt of the Necrodancer with Renegade Devi, who hasn't told me where he wants to put that. So everyone please stab him immediately. Resident Evil 2 Remake, yeah, with 19 votes. If anything, that should probably be higher. I mean, come on. Sound design. Zelda Breath of the Wild with 28. I don't get that one. I mean, it's got good sound, but, I mean, it didn't really pop out for me in terms of sound design. Subnautica, yeah, 34 votes. Alien Isolation in number 3 with 36 votes. Hang on. I need to put that towards Max Payne 2. Thank you very, very much, Ahmed Elvis. Much obliged and appreciate. So anyways, number 3, Alien Isolation with 36 votes. Number 2, a game I have not and never will play, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice with 46 votes. Is there good sound design in that game? Like, I'm just curious. I agree. Alien Isolation was actually one of the ones I was debating. Okay, I'll take you as take it as a yes here. But number 1 for best sound design, I don't agree with this, is Witcher 3 with 55 votes. Why? Why Witcher 3? And again, this is sound design. By the way, voice acting is a separate category. I think I did actually Dream Whisper. No, I did. I absolutely did. Because of the volume level issues in Witcher 3. I actually gave a negative to sound design in Witcher 3. Whatever. I suppose I should give my answers, which is... Actually, I was very torn between two separate games. And you probably can already guess them. One of them is Resident Evil 2 Remake. RE2R was a very, very well-designed sound game. There were huge chunks of that game that basically didn't have music, and they didn't need it. And in addition to that, though, the sound was a tool in the arsenal of the player. You could tell, in many cases, what was coming or how it was coming based on the sound, ignoring the obvious clunk, 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 clunk with Mr. X. Fantastic sound design in Resident Evil 2 Remake. My other pick is Subnautica. Anybody who's played Subnautica probably knows why I would pick Subnautica as my other big one. Because that game, yeah, enough said. Moving on. So, that was sound design. Now let's do music. Now this one is one of those ones that had too many categories. I had to chop some out of this one. Oh my god, we actually have a tie for first on this one. And a tie for third. Wow, that is almost an even spread between 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, the top 5 are almost tied for music. At very last is Blops 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 with 0. Then we have Into the Breach with 0. And then we have Borderlands 3 with 0. Then we have Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, as a reminder, that came out this last decade, with 1. Shadowrun Returns Dragonfall with 2. Bastion with 2. Cuphead with 2. Assassin's Creed Revelations with 2. Endless Space with 3. Nier with 3. Transistor with 4. Celeste should be higher than this. Celeste with 4. Crypt of the Necrodancer with 4, which should also be higher. FTL, Faster Than Light, with 4. Journey with 5. I don't agree with that. Final Fantasy 15 with 5. Really don't agree with that. God of War 4 with 5. Scroll up a bit. Kingdom Hearts 3 with 6. By the way, I need to grab that soundtrack. I haven't actually done that yet. I need to do that. Kingdom Hearts 3 with 6. Devil May Cry 5 with 6. That should probably be higher too. Ori and the Blind Forest with 7. Final Fantasy 13 with 8. Stellaris, which we were listening to earlier, with 10. Too high, Velvetrix. Red Dead Redemption 2 with 10. Doom 4 with 11. And then we have a huge spread of Doom. So, going from the bottom to the top, so this is number 6, is Mass Effect 2 with 27 votes. Not sure I agree with that one, but, I mean, there's some really good music there, so I'm with that. In number 5, and I want you to remember these numbers, in 5th place, for 33 votes, is Undertale. In 3rd place, with 34 votes, is a tie between Persona 5, which I don't agree with at all, and Skyrim. Would you be surprised to know that I actually don't have any Skyrim music on my computer? Because I didn't think it was good enough to grab. I mean, no offense intended, and obviously people's preferences is people's preferences, but, you know, I didn't care for it. And tied for first, for best music of the last decade, is Witcher 3, which, okay, sure, and Nier Automata. I actually can't remember any Nier Automata songs off the top of my head. Now, of course, music is it's one of the 3 most variable things about human preference. Not really, is that Slayer now? So, it doesn't surprise me that this would be a hell of a spread. The top 6 votes have more than 50% of the votes, and they are spread out like crazy. I was really, really torn on this one because we had Stellaris, we had Mario Odyssey, we had Mass Effect 2, we had Witcher 3, we had Devil May Cry 5, we had Kingdom Hearts 3, we had Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. But even though I'm kind of pulling it technically, I had to give it to Red Dead Redemption 2 for best music. And if I have to explain why, remember that Red Dead Redemption 2, to this day, has gotten the most pluses to music for any game I've ever reviewed. It's hard to even explain if you haven't seen it. They don't repeat songs in Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, they do occasionally, but they basically don't. And it's the way they use the music that really works for me. Because every scene has music tailored to that scene. And it's incredible the way they do it. I had to give it to RDR2. I had to. I mean, I don't have the RDR soundtrack, if that helps you, Johnny. I don't have it local, and I don't plan to buy it, but... Moving on, so now we move to Best Consistency from a Series. This is a very strange category, and I'm not sure what to make of this, but let's see what you guys made of it. I know what I picked, but... So, from the bottom, we have Magica with 0 votes. Steam World with 3 votes, Atelier with 5 votes, Serious Sam, have they had games come out this decade? With 6 votes, Wolfenstein with 6 votes, Kirby with 7 votes, Banner Saga, which has come out and finished in this decade with 11 votes, Pokemon with 13 votes, Mario with 24 votes, and in the top 3, third most consistent, best consistency from a series is the Yakuza series at 35. Second best consistency from a series is the Witcher series. Now, can I just stop and say that I massively disagree with that? No, seriously, for a second. Witcher 1, Witcher 2, and Witcher 3 are hugely inconsistent with each other. Even if you like Witcher 1 and Witcher 2, which I'm not talking about, they are hugely inconsistent. They're inconsistent in style, they're inconsistent in tone, and frankly, they are also inconsistent in overall quality. And when I say quality, I mean like quality of voice acting, quality of dialogue writing, quality of gameplay complexity. Well, I don't know why this got the number 2 slot. But the number 1 slot, which I'm not sure what I think of, is Dark Souls. Now again, best consistency from a series. So these people are positing that Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 are the most consistent games. Oh, thank God, Huthor's here now and not earlier when we were talking about Star Wars. Sorry, I'm poking. Hi, Huthor. So yeah, I massively disagree with both of those. Sorry, guys, but Dark Souls and Witcher are massively inconsistent. No, I wasn't going to bring up the Blizzard thing, Shikor. Anyways, my pick was Mario. But then well, hang on, let me rewind a second. My initial pick was Mario. Then I looked at what came out this last decade, and I was like, oh, I can't pick that. So I couldn't, so I didn't. So, see, I can't even agree with the Kirby thing. This decade has had Kirby Epic Yarn, which, I mean, makes a point for me, right? Hey, Savacom. You should just stay here. We're at the game section now. So no, what I actually did was I defaulted. Because every game franchise I could think of that I have anything in has had ups and downs quite a bit. Like, Assassin's Creed has had Origins, 4, and Odyssey. God of War's only had 1 release. Dragon Quest has only had 1 release, unless we're counting 10, which we're not. Yakuza technically had the Judgment series, but even then I've only played Yakuza 0, so I can't comment on that. Right? Arkham technically had a blip, so that doesn't count. Deus Ex only had 2 games, and I I think both those came with World of Warcraft, all over the place. Witcher, already talked about that. Donkey Kong Country, that's all over the place. Mario has had Sticker Star, by the way, so I couldn't really pick Mario. Zelda had that stupid 3DS clothing game, which most of you probably forgot. So I actually couldn't pick a most consistent franchise, so I just passed on this one. Sorry, guys. I gave up. Moving on. Pokemon had Pokemon Go. To be as blunt as I possibly can on that one. Thank you, Command & Conquer. Thank you very, very much, as ever and as always. And I assume you want that to go to Greedfall as well? So, after most consistent... hang on. Where the hell is... What are we next? Engaging. Most engaging gameplay. Now, this one is kind of a vague category because it's... Oh, Outer Worlds. Hang on. Let me get rid of this. Command & Conquer 2 to Outer Worlds. So... Most engaging gameplay. For me, this was all about a game that, regardless of its relative quality, just had something about it that just was like, yeah! Right? Like, either a particular mechanic or something or about the design of the gameplay that was just like, oh, I love it. So, most engaging gameplay. We had a lot on this list. Let's go down the list. The bottom we have Sonic Colors with 0. My friend Pedro with 0. Serious Sam 3 with 0. Borderlands 3 with 1. Rayman Legends with 1. Skate 3 with 2. Sleeping Dogs with 3. Dead Cells with 3. Star Sector with 3. Into the Breach with 5. Celeste with 5. Catherine with 5. Sonic Mania with 6. StarCraft 2 with 7. Subnautica with 10. Marvel Spider-Man PS4 with 12. Stellaris with 13. God of War 4 with 18. This is a spread from hell, by the way, so I'm just going up the list. Sekiro with 19. Stardew Valley with 19. Portal 2 with 22. Super Mario Odyssey with 23. Doom 4 with 23. XCOM Enemy Unknown with 28. And at the very top, Bloodborne with 35. I have nothing to add to that, so I'll just move on. For me, I was torn between Muhammad Elvis, who just keeps giving me bits for some reason. Can somebody go stab him for me really quick, please? Thank you very, very much. For me, I was actually very torn. Again, most engaging gameplay. I liked Spider-Man PS4, but when I thought about that, it was mostly the swinging. And I actually didn't care for the combat in Spider-Man PS4 all that much. Mario Odyssey? Oh yeah, absolutely. Mario Odyssey. But the thing is, Mario Odyssey was a lot about the quality, not the engagement. I was having fun non-stop in Mario Odyssey, but I can't quite say that's the most engaging gameplay for me. So my next pick was XCOM 2. With the expansion, of course, because that was actually phenomenal. And there was just so much of like tension and just struggling and turning it around. And oh, that was fantastic. But, again, that's more about the quality of the gameplay rather than the engagement. So I went with Subnautica. If I have to explain why, again, you didn't watch the stream. Because Subnautica, first of all, actually legitimately triggered fear in me. Which is damn strange. Damn strange. That doesn't happen. But I was just... okay, we're gonna... I don't know, what is that? What is that? What is that? Just the whole thing. Ugh. Most innovative. Now, this is gonna probably lead to some heckles because... innovative is... I mean, there are several of these that technically didn't innovate. But anyways, so, innovative. Most innovative gameplay. Sound as a tool in the game Journey, which got 0 votes. Turn-based, grid-based shoot-'em-up gameplay from Next Jump, which got 0 votes. A car chase with active pause on grid format from Convoy with 0 votes. Directional blocking stances from For Honor with 0 votes. Time loop of Sexy Brutal, spoilers, with 0 votes. Interrupting text boxes with gunplay from Westerado. Being able to cast spells on cooldowns by paying with health from Shadowrun Returns with 1 vote. I did like that mechanic. Being able to draw in order to effect and craft from Okami, 1 vote. The ability to massively customize spells and elemental combinations from Magicka 1 and 2, which probably should be much higher up on this list, 2 votes. The difficulty options of Dishonored 2, 2 votes. Adjusting platforms as you play from Rayman Legends, 2 votes. The action economy of the XCOM series, 2 votes. Ship customization from Assassin's Creed Black Flag 4, 3 votes. Turn-based predictive combat from Frozen Synapse, 3 votes. The pet controlling combat in Devil May Cry 5 with 3 votes. Difficulty options in Celeste, 3 votes. Augmented reality from Pokemon Go, 3 votes. Battle Royale from Fortnite, 3 votes. Very spread here. I lost my place. Being able to paint and the paint-related paint mechanics, Splatoon 1 and 2. Time travel as a game and story mechanic, Radiant Historia, 4 votes. Gravity manipulation from Gravity Rush, 4 votes. The paradigm and stagger features of Final Fantasy XIII, 5 votes. The ability to possess enemies instead of getting power-ups, Super Mario Odyssey, 8 votes. Discovery Tour Mode, which should probably be at the top of this list, honestly, 8 votes. Portals and Gels, Portal 2, 12 votes. The rules rewriting from Baba Is You, I don't even know what that game is, 17 votes. Souls and Bonfires specifically from Dark Souls. Now I can actually see that, because that's actually a pretty cool risk-reward mechanic. You know, you heal, you recover, but everything also respawns, and yeah. And you can also teleport between them. So anyways, 25 votes. And in third place, another thing that should probably be higher on this list, the Nemesis system of Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War with 26 votes. By the way, can I just say that I think the concept of the Nemesis system would work really well in a lot of games, of a lot of genres. Imagine like a management sim where there's like another manager or another city or whatever, and you can have the Nemesis system built into that. Just, anyway, sorry, moving on. Anyways, number 2, with a huge 47 votes, building, crafting, etc. Minecraft. Okay, I'll give that to you. I mean, I will. But it didn't win, because the one that actually won, the one at the very top of the list with a hilariously huge 72 votes and over 28% of the votes, is being able to save transfer to affect future games from, for example, Mass Effect and Dragon Age. I was torn on this one, by the way, because there's a lot of things here that I like the ideas of. Discovery Tour Mode was one that came to my mind immediately. I also really enjoyed the Magicka 1 and 2 aren't exactly great games, but the fact that you could just make combos of spells and stuff is fantastic. No, not really hazardous. I've talked about Mass Effect enough. I think I've talked it to death. I have nothing to add to it. But my actual pick, and part of the reason for this is because I want more games to do this. Supposedly, Kingdom Hearts 3 will be doing this later this month. I picked the difficulty options of Dishonored 2. Because that is proper difficulty. And it is extremely rare to see a game do proper difficulty that well. Being able to massively customize the specific variables by which enemies act and interact is amazing. It allows you to make everything super hard, everything super easy, or everything super hard in a specific way, but easy in another way. You want guards that can detect you very, very easily, but will die in 2 hits. You want guards who will never detect you, but will absolutely destroy you if they find you. The amount of customization of Dishonored 2's difficulty options is phenomenal. I want every game to have that level of difficulty. And the best part is, all that requires, is that the developers, when they're making the game, assign variables to all the things they're already doing for all the AI and items and weapons and etc. They just have to have a flag there which can have an adjustable variable attached to it. It involves prep work, in other words. But if they... Anyways. Yeah, Pokemon should have that. Ugh. Interesting next time. No honorable mention to Undertale. Now, best final boss. This one actually really... I had issues with this one. And I kind of wanted to bow out of this one. So, with 3 votes at the very end is Cuphead, which is... I guess I shouldn't spoil any of these. So, the final boss of Cuphead. The final boss of Borderlands 2, with 3 votes. The final boss of Super Mario Odyssey... Spoiler, it's Bowser. With 4 votes. Kingdom Hearts Treetop Distance's final boss with 6 votes. Dragon Guard 3's final boss with 10 votes, because those people are insane. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order's final boss, which I don't even know what it is, for 10 votes. Don't answer. Anybody who answers will be banned immediately. God of War 4's final boss for 19 votes. Witcher 3's final boss for 21. Now that one actually is interesting, because I've talked to a few people, and people had different ideas of what the final boss of Witcher 3 was. Because there's the final boss of Witcher 3, then there's the final boss of Hearts and Stone, and then there's the final boss of Blood and Wine. I was thinking Blood and Wine when I considered that one, because I considered the 3 to be one contiguous thing, but shrug. Final boss of Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Now that's an interesting one, because there's actually multiple of those too, so I'm not sure which one they were picking. Final boss of Devil May Cry 5. Again, no spoilers, but I can see it. The final boss of Dark Souls 1. Now, I don't even like Dark Souls 1, but I could actually see that. That was 2nd place with 25 votes, by the way. Yeah, I could see that. That is a very well done last boss fight. But the one that you guys picked, number 1, is yet another game with multiple final bosses. It is Undertale, with an astonishing 59 votes. Now, I can't actually talk about that, because we're not spoiling, but I'm curious which final boss you guys were considering when you decided to vote for Undertale. I'm actually pretty curious. Now, I had 2 answers for best final boss, and I'm actually really torn between both of them. One of them is actually Kingdom Hearts 3's final boss. Now, I'm cheating when I say that, because what I mean is I like Kingdom Hearts 3's final bosses. Like, there's the initial trio fight, then there's the 13 fight, then there's the armored fight, and then there's the final fight. All of those, for me, was an amazing last boss rush. But there's one other one I picked. Argus. Does anybody know who I'm talking about? I'm actually curious. Several people are. In World of Warcraft Legion, the Argus fight is an astonishingly well-crafted fight. I've never experienced it full tilt, so there's kind of an asterisk on this one. Were there better final bosses, Hazardous? Because this is final. That's the whole point. But yeah, that fight, oh my gosh. There's tons going on, but it doesn't get into ridiculous land. And just, I don't know, yeah, Argus, absolutely. Moving on. What's next? Best port or remake? Here we go, this one. Start pushing through these here. I couldn't think of any Hazardous. Of course, I haven't played Yakuza 1. Alright, so we have Metroid Samus Returns with 1 vote. Twilight Princess HD with 1 vote. Secret of Mana with 1 vote. Tactics Ogre PSP with 3 votes. Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology, 3 votes. Open XCOM, 5 votes. Gul'dan isn't a final boss, though, Vane. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, 5 votes. Link's Awakening, the one that just came out on the Switch, 5 votes. Wind Waker HD, 6 votes. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, which I swear we'll play someday, 7 votes. Majora's Mask on the 3DS, 8 votes. Shadow of the Colossus, which I guess had a port recently, 8 votes. Yakuza Kiwami, 10 votes. Final Fantasy XII, The Zodiac Age, 12 votes, ironically. Spyro Reignited, 12 votes. And in top 3, number 3 for best port or remake of the last decade, Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8 HD. Number 2, Black Mesa, which is 21 votes. I haven't actually played that, so I can't comment on that, but I've been told it's good. And number 1 by a stupid amount of votes. So, Black Mesa has 21 votes. Resident Evil 2 Remake has 91. So yeah, by an absolutely ridiculous number of votes, Resident Evil 2 Remake. Which, by the way, is actually my pick too. If nothing else, I didn't like Resident Evil 2. And I loved Resident Evil 2R. However, I also gave bonus points to Metroid Samus Returns, for what amounts to the same reason. Metroid Samus Returns, which is the Metroid 2 remake on the 3DS, was a very good game, and did a very good remake, and a proper remake of a game that I didn't like. I didn't like Metroid 2 all that much. So those two are both kind of tied for me, for the very top. And what do we got here? Final thing for gameplay design, best gameplay and story integration. So, Texorcist with 0. I actually streamed that briefly, and then it crashed. Singularity with 1 vote. Lego Dimensions, no idea, with 3 votes. Pyre, 4 votes. Transistor, 4 votes. Radiant Historia, 5 votes. Outer Wilds, haven't played that, 6 votes. Celeste, 6 votes, that should be higher. The Ignis chapter of Final Fantasy XV, 6 votes. Bastion, 8 votes. And so the top 4, at number 4, for best gameplay and story integration, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, which I can't say anything about. I'm going to assume it has good gameplay and story integration, because I have no idea. At number 3... little surprised this is only 3, but at least it's this high up, is The Stanley Parable. I mean, come on. It's literally a meta game. It is gameplay and story integration, the game. But moving on to number 2, Nier Automata. Don't agree with this one. I know why it's here. I don't agree with it. I don't think it had better gameplay story integration than, well, like 5 of the games you've already listed. Which, of course, brings me to the number 1 one. Undertale. Undertale wins with 64 votes. 28% of the votes. Yeah, no, I have to give it to that. I have to. Because as far as gameplay story integration, the game was the story and vice versa. Again, in a similar manner of Stanley Parable, which I was torn between those two. Like, what else can I add? So yeah, I was torn between Undertale and Stanley Parable. Those were my picks. With that, we now move on to gameplay, or game design narrative. Which playlist I'm using for this one? Ah, okay. So, I mean, I figure, you know, we've had Mega Man music for game design. We need an appropriate soundtrack for narrative design. Let's get a timestamp here for our second VOD, because we had to cut off because the freaking internet going on. All right. First and foremost, best voice actor. I'm really curious of your guys' picks on this one. Because... why? Sorry. Because there's a lot of voice actors that have done a lot of good voice acting in the last decade. So, at the very bottom, Colleen O'Shaughnessy, don't actually know who that is, 0. Roger Craig Smith, 0. Jason Griffith, 0. Christopher Sabat, 0. Richard Epcar, 0. Alexis Tipton, 1. Travis Willingham, 1. Mike Pollock, 1. Courtney Kellen Taylor, 1. Paul St. Peter, excuse me, 1. Cassandra Lee Morris, 1. Michael Dorn, 1. Keanu Reeves, I'm sorry, has Keanu Reeves done any voice acting in the last decade? 1, either way. Leonard Nimoy, that would be Kingdom Hearts, 3. Doug Cockle, no idea who that is, 4. Darren DePaul, 4. Cyberpunk isn't out yet. And also wouldn't have come out in the last 10 years. So no. He was in the presentation thing. So? Oh, Doug Cockle is Geralt. Oh. Why isn't he higher? Anyways. Darren DePaul, 4. Keith Davids, 4? Really? Tara Strong, 4. Yuri Lowenthal, 5. Liam O'Brien, 6. John DiMaggio, 6. Mark Mears, 6. Christopher Judge, don't know who that is, 7. Ashley Birch, 7. Laura Bailey, 9. Steve Blum, 9. Nolan North, 11. Which leaves us with our top 3. Top 3 picks for best voice actor of the last decade. Ah, that was Teal'c. He did do a good job, but I don't think he's that high. Number 3, with 35 votes, Jennifer Hale. I'm going to go ahead and say that I disagree with that. Jennifer Hale is a good voice actress, but I wouldn't even put her in my top 10 when it comes to voice acting. In general, never mind the last decade. Yeah, no thank you. I mean, she's done good stuff. She was in Diablo 3, she was in Tor, she was in Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 1, and Mass Effect 3, but no. Now, this one I agree with completely. At number 2 with 36 votes, Troy Baker. Now, I know Troy Baker gets a lot of flack for being, oh, he's everywhere. It's the same thing that happened with Steve Blum about a decade ago, actually. But Troy Baker, in total contrast to Jennifer Hale, is a really good voice actor who also has tremendous range. I'm always blown away by the number of and types of roles he does. He's phenomenal. Yeah, he can do weird, horrible stuff with his voice. It's nuts. Which leaves us with the number 1 pick. Now, I want you to do me a favor and tell me what voice acting he's done in the last decade other than the Arkham series. Because the number 1 voice actor by quite a margin at 54 votes is Mark Hamill. I like Mark Hamill's voice acting, but explain to me what he did this decade other than the Arkham series. Because I don't know what else he did. I mean, he is the Joker. No, he is the Joker. I don't care what anyone says. He did do Ericus, that's true. Birth by Sleep came out. I mean, you could say quality, not quantity, but I'd probably still give that to Baker, honestly. By the way, Troy Baker is my personal pick for best voice actor. But I have to admit, there's one other voice actor that I was very torn on, and I want to mention him. And that would be Darren DePaul. Now, if you don't know what Darren DePaul has done, let's just pull up a list here real quick. You probably heard him. Let's see. Video games. So, a bunch of stuff in the older things. I'm going to kind of skip over these. He plays Arden in Final Fantasy 15, you know, the villain. He plays a few jillion roles in every Blizzard game. He's Gallywix, and the Eridar, and Azure Ghost, and Jurgosh, and Romul, excuse me. He was Alpha and Beta in Nier Automata. He was the Chosen Warlock in XCOM 2. He is Emperor Callus in Destiny 2. He was the Nazgul in Middle-earth, Shadow War. He was J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man game. He was many characters in Spyro Reignited. Many people in Darksiders 3. Several people in Red Dead Redemption 2. He was Owl in Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Oh yeah, and Overwatch. Why is Overwatch not on this list? Oh, there it is. Reinhardt over in Overwatch. He's done a lot of stuff. And... oh yeah, he's apparently some guy in Outer Worlds. Again, I don't know who that is. He's also a character in Death Stranding. He is also playing the Hulk in the upcoming Avengers game. He's not only done a lot of roles, but he's done a lot of good roles. I still think Troy Baker wins that one out for me, but Darren DePaul deserves to be up there in my opinion. Yuri Lowenthal would probably be number 3 for me, if I had to pick. So, now we have to pick the worst game intro. This is when I start to have to mention something, but let's go through your guys' results first. Oh my god, there's a tie! Okay, so, at last, with 3 votes, is Dark. Then we have Xenoblade Chronicles X with 6, Neo with 9, and Death Stranding with 15. So then we have the top 3 worst intros. Or openers. Again, this is narratively speaking. Number 3, Mass Effect 3 with 45 votes. As I've discussed more than once, yes, Mass Effect 3's intro is awful. At number 2, and number 1, tied for worst intro to a video game, narratively speaking, because it's the narrative category, is Mass Effect Andromeda and Skyrim. As I have also discussed, Skyrim's intro is terrible. I spent like an hour and a half pausing every 10 seconds to really show why Skyrim's intro is just plain bad. Now, here we got to start adding an asterisk here. Anthem wasn't even on the list. Nobody nominated it. We have to add an asterisk here, okay? So I was looking down the game narrative list, and I realized something as I was listing them out. And what I realized is that I could put Ride to Hell Retribution in almost every worst category. Because I've played Ride to Hell Retribution, remember? I've played the whole game. So, worst intro to a game is technically Ride to Hell Retribution. Here's the thing. I decided that was cheating. So I'll mention it, but it's off to the side. My other pick, other than Ride to Hell Retribution, would be Skyrim, because I really, really do think Skyrim's intro is awful. Moving on. Best intro to a game. Dead to Rights, I haven't played that one, Dakota. Best intro. Borderlands 3, 0 votes. Battletech, 0 votes. Dark Souls 2, 1 vote. Marvel's Spider-Man PS4, 7 votes. God of War 4, 7 votes. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which I haven't played, 7 votes. Warhammer 40k Space Marine, 8 votes. Dark Souls 1, 8 votes. Detroit Become Human, 9 votes. Ori and the Blind Forest, 10 votes. 10 votes, excuse me. Doom 4, 13 votes. Persona 5, 14 votes. Bioshock Infinite, 20 votes. Metal Gear Solid 5, 20 votes. I don't even remember that game's intro. At number 3 for best intro to a video game narratively, Witcher 3 with 30 votes. At number 2 for best intro to a game narratively, The Last of Us at 35 votes. And the number 1 best intro to a video game narratively speaking is Mass Effect 2 with an insane 62 votes. Almost double the previous category. Yeah? For me, I was actually really torn. God of War 4 actually has a phenomenal intro, in my opinion. So, yeah. Outro! So we know which one's going to win this one, don't we? Worst outro to a game. Kane and Lynch 2, 1 vote. Zero Time Dilemma, 3 votes. Call of Duty Ghosts, 4 votes. StarCraft 2, 5 votes. Don't agree with that. Mass Effect Andromeda, 6 votes. Dragon Age 2, 6 votes. I agree with that. Bioshock Infinite, 6 votes. Diablo 3, 7 votes. Anthem, 21 votes. Mass Effect 3, 164 votes. 74% of all votes, of 223 people, voted for Mass Effect 3 for the worst outro of a game in the last decade. My answer is Ride to Hell Retribution. But again, that's cheating. It is cheating. It is. So, if we ignore Ride to Hell Retribution, then I would pick Mass Effect 3. I would, legitimately. Yeah, like I said, Ride to Hell Retribution is cheating. So now we do best outro, right? Yes, best outro. Alright, so... yeah, exactly, max time. Drakengard 3, with 1 vote. This specific song is called Blinded by Light. With 2 votes, World of Final Fantasy. With 5 votes, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. With 8 votes, Assassin's Creed Revelations, which did have a good outro. God of War 4, which has a phenomenal outro, 15 votes. Halo Reach, which I haven't played, 25 votes. Top 3. Number 3, best outro to a video game in the last decade, Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 1. Oof. A lot of oof on that one. Number 2, can I just say I really disagree with this one? Nier Automata, with 43 votes. And in first place, with literally more than double the votes of Nier Automata, Witcher 3, Blood and Wine. Which, by the way, is also my pick. I'm sorry, guys. That final boss fight, which is one of my favorite boss fights, final boss fights of the last decade. The conclusion with oh god, I can't think of anyone's name, with the Duchess and with your friend, and then you go back to your house, and then you have that denouement and the retirement. Yeah. No question for me. I'm sorry. Abso-frickin-lutely. That's a fantastic outro. Worst narrative? No, that's wrong. Worst world building. That's next. Worst world building. In last place, we have The Outer Worlds with 7 votes. Haven't played it. Then we have Civilization Beyond Earth with 15 votes. Death Stranding with 19. Mass Effect Andromeda with 40. And way in the lead with 57% of the votes, Anthem at 108 votes. Now, world building is something that I'm really big on. I've said before, probably the only thing I'm actually good at writing at is world building. Like I think I'm a decent, passable world builder. Anthem has the opposite of world building. I know this is kind of a meme, but it deserves repeating. Anthem never even named the planet they're on. Yeah, again, this feels like cheating, but Anthem absolutely sweeps that category. However, that's not true. Actually, Ride to Hell Retribution. But anyways, moving on. I'm not kidding, Rax. I'm not kidding. All right, best world building. Actually, they do call it Gaia in FF7 Chocolate Roll. Best world building. We had some good world building over the last few years. Now, I can already tell you I disagree massively with these results, but let's get through it. The Outer Worlds with 2 votes. Detroit Become Human. You probably don't want to hear this opera. Hang on. Boop. Detroit Become Human with 3 votes. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Well, let me say that probably shouldn't be on this list. because it's Star Wars. Skyrim, which I really disagree with 10 votes. Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2 with 11 votes. There's a lot of good narrative in those games, but I don't think world building is one of them. Not really. Hollow Knight at 19. I'll give you that one. Deus Ex, Between Human Revolution and Mankind Divided, with 21 votes. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Probably worked better if we eject the original Deus Ex, ironically, but let's not get into that. So top 3. Number 3, with 26 votes, Horizon Zero Dawn. I wasn't aware Fallout New Vegas came out in the last decade, Malachor. Can someone look up Fallout New Vegas' release date for me really quick, please? Oh, it came out... Did it really? Hang on. Let me look it up. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, October 2010. Huh. Well, no, it's not on the list. At number 2, with 67 votes, Mass Effect. And at number 1, Witcher 3, with 81 votes. Now, this is a weird one for me. Because... See, Witcher 3 is kind of cheating in the same way that Star Wars is kind of cheating. But the thing is, I don't give a damn about the books of Witcher. And I don't really have a lot of interest in seeing the show, even though people keep telling me it's awesome. The only reason I care about that world at all is because of Witcher 3. But the problem is that comes down to presentation, from what I understand. Like, to my knowledge, they didn't really change the world building. The world building was already there. I think? I don't actually know, admittedly. So I could see why Witcher 3 does legitimately have excellent world building. You can enjoy all of The Witcher from just Witcher 3. But you can see why I'm just looking at that like, huh. Either way, I mentally discounted Witcher 3 from the list. So since I did that, and since Mass Effect 1 did most of the world building of the Mass Effect series, I decided to go ahead and pick Horizon Zero Dawn. That's my pick for best world building. And I probably shouldn't have to explain that if you've played the game at all, but wow. Moving on. Worst dialogue in a video game in the last decade. What do we got here? We have Final Fantasy Type 0 with 2 votes. Ghost Recon Wildlands with 2 votes. Mass Effect 3 with 3 votes. Death Stranding with 5 votes. Beyond Two Souls with 6 votes. The Quiet Man, I actually don't know what that is, with 19 votes. Life is Strange with 19 votes. And then the top 3 worst dialogue in a video game. In number 3 vote is Fallout 4 with 34 votes. I actually don't agree with that. A lot of the character stuff is the stuff that's actually some of the best parts of Fallout 4 in my opinion, so I really disagree with that. Number 2, Mass Effect Andromeda. Yeah. Very, very typical cliched Hollywood dialogue. And at number 1 for worst dialogue is Ride to Hell Retribution, because someone actually suggested it. As we've already discussed, that's kind of cheating. It is also on my list in the cheating category, because Ride to Hell Retribution is just terrible, terrible dialogue. However, because that is cheating, I had to come up with another answer, which is not on that list. For me, the non-cheating answer for worst dialogue of the last decade is Paper Mario Sticker Star. Now, some of you are probably going to be like, oh yeah, absolutely. The rest of you are like, huh? But Anybody who knows, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Bowser has 0 lines of dialogue in that game. Just as a reminder. 0. Bowser. Best dialogue in a video game. We have Magica 2 with 0 votes, Magica with 1 vote, Drakengard 3 with 1 vote, League of Legends with 2 votes, Days Gone with 2 votes, Undertale with 4 votes, Valhalla with 6 votes, Life is Strange, Deja Vu, with 10 votes, Final Fantasy 15 with 11 votes, God of War 4 with 13 votes, Undertale with 16 votes, Disco Elysium with 18 votes, Tyranny with 19 votes, Portal with 24 votes. This is a hell of a spread. At number 2, we have Mass Effect 2 with 38 votes. And at number 1, for best dialogue in a video game of the last decade, did I say Undertale twice? I might have said Undertale. Yep, I did say Undertale twice. It was on the list twice. Witcher 3. 67 votes. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to bring up how Red Dead Redemption 2, which isn't even on this list, by the way, has absolutely phenomenal dialogue. Because it does. I'd also bring up how the dialogue between the main trio in Final Fantasy 15 is phenomenal. But I hate to say it, Witcher 3 just beats this one for dialogue. But those would be my top 3. RDR 2, the game I just mentioned, God, I'm getting tired, and Witcher 3. FF15, there we go. No, I really don't, Max Time. So, worst character of the decade in terms of video games. Now, we had a bunch of people on this list. Let's see what we got here. I've been very curious here. Worst character of a video game of the last decade. Meredith from Dragon Age 2, 0 votes. Solus, Dragon Age Inquisition, 0 votes. Shieldbert, Pokemon Sword and Shield, 0 votes. Swordward, Pokemon Sword and Shield, 0 votes. Tyrene Calypso, don't even know who that is. Borderlands 3, 0 votes. Blackwall from Dragon Age Inquisition, 1 vote. Javik from Mass Effect 3, 1 vote. Kiana from League of Legends, 1 vote. Greymane from World of Warcraft, 1 vote. Hop from Pokemon Sword and Shield, 1 vote. Zeratul from StarCraft 2, 1 vote. Ava from Borderlands 3, 2 votes. Gladio from Final Fantasy 15, 3 votes. Ranjit from FF14, 3 votes. Haha. Hao from Pokemon Sun and Moon, 4 votes. Sebastian Vale from Dragon Age 2, 4 votes. Kerrigan from StarCraft 2, 4 votes. James Vega from Mass Effect 3, 4 votes. Sarah from Dragon Age Inquisition, 5 votes. The Archon, I am the Archon from Mass Effect Andromeda, 5 votes. Anders, Dragon Age 2, 5 votes. I'm astonished he's not higher. You notice how many of these are BioWare, by the way? PB, Mass Effect Andromeda, 5 votes. Chloe Price, Life is Strange, 6 votes. Luna Freya, Final Fantasy 15, 8 votes. That's just mean. Diana Allers, Mass Effect 3, 9 votes. Marie, Persona 4, 9 votes. Preston Garvey, Fallout 4, 13 votes. And our top 3 worst characters in a video game, narratively speaking, are... Number 3, Sylvanas Windrunner, with 24 votes. I'm not going to say anything. Number 2, with 46 votes, Kai Lang, Mass Effect 3. And number 1, Mass Effect 3, 57 votes, Starchild. Now, when I was thinking about this, I was debating, and ultimately I ejected Starchild as a choice, because I was very torn between 2 characters who actively ruined both games they were in for me. The other pick for me was actually Ranjit from FF14. If it's not obvious, I really, really didn't like Ranjit. However, I went with Kai Lang. For me, Kai Lang... I mean, Sylvanas is probably my number 3 pick, but Kai Lang is just... I'm better than you in every way. And I'm literally... He's also the worst boss of the last decade, but let's not get into that. Yeah, exactly, Darth Tyron. Best character. Now, we had a ridiculous amount of competition on this one. I had to chop this list in half. Oh, that is a spread. Wow. Over 50% is the top 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so Talia, League of Legends, 0 votes. Elise de la Serre, Assassin's Creed Unity, 0 votes. Loaderbot, Tales from the Borderlands, 0 votes. Reese, Tales from the Borderlands, 1 vote. Alarak, StarCraft 2, 2 votes. Pascal, Nier Automata, 2 votes. Bayek, Assassin's Creed Origins, 2 votes. Anne, Persona 5, 2 votes. Which one was Anne? Kara, Detroit Become Human, 3 votes. Cass, Breath of the Wild, 3 votes. Sidon, Breath of the Wild, 3 votes. Robert and Rosalind Lutis, Bioshock Infinite. That's a funny one. Puff of Logic, trying to interrupt me. 3 votes. Arden, Final Fantasy 15, 3 votes. Ignis, Final Fantasy 15, 3 votes. Cassandra Pentagast, Dragon Age Inquisition, 3 votes. Hank Anderson, Detroit Become Human, 6 votes. Wheatley, Portal 2, 6 votes. Michael DeSanta, Grand Theft Auto 5, 6 votes. I actually agree with that one. He was a really good character, surprisingly. Yausuke, Persona 5, 6 votes. Joshua Graham, Fallout New Vegas, 7 votes. Connor, Detroit Become Human, sensing a trend here, 8 votes. Erdnot Rex, I don't think I have to say what he's from, 8 votes. Liara Tassoni, 9 votes. Emmett Selk, 10 votes. He's from FF14. Kratos from God of War 4, 15 votes. And I'm going to pause to make sure I jot those down. Thank you very, very much, A Puff of Logic. Hang on, I already have one from you here somewhere. There it is. So that's this much. Okay. Thank you very, very much, Puff of Logic. So, we have Kratos, Clementine, Telltale's Walking Dead, with 6 votes. And then at the 4th place, we had Varric Tethras from Dragon Age 2 and Dragon Age Inquisition with 16 votes. At number 3, we had Tali Zora Voss Normandy from Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, 20 votes. Number 2, we had Ciri from The Witcher 3, 23 votes. I don't think she should be that high on this list. She's a good character, but not above, like, some of these. And number 1, by a colossal margin, by double, Garrus Vicarian. Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3. Geralt's not on the list, by the way. Yeah, but Mass Effect 1 didn't come out in the last decade. Yeah, there's a lot of BioWare characters here. Who did I pick? Where's my list? Best character. Oh, huh. Thank you, Orange Decker. Yeah, Garrus, I will give Garrus this. Even in Mass Effect 3, he was better than some of the characters were. Just saying something. But yes, Geralt is in a separate category. Protagonist. So, what's next? We did Best Character, which are a scene! Worst scene in a video game in the last 10 years. I picked Geralt, too, by the way. Ifrit's Flash Forward in FF15, 0 votes. Garrosh and the Veil of Eternal Blossoms, World of Warcraft Pandaria, 0 votes. Torture Scene, Sleeping Dog, 0 votes. Sexbot defeating Kaiden or Ashley, Mass Effect 3, 1 vote. Didn't I say Garrus? What did I say? Garrus Vicarian was my pick for Best Character. Anders' Big Mistake, Dragon Age 2, 1 vote. I said Geralt, wow. They're the same, what do you want from me? I am Archon, Mass Effect Andromeda, 1 vote. All the super weapons in Tor, 1 vote. The existence of the multiverse, Pokemon Oros, 1 vote. Kingsglaive footage misuse in Final Fantasy 15, 2 votes. Your father's death scene, it's not a spoiler, it's like the first 10 minutes of the game. Mass Effect Andromeda, 2 votes. The Symbolism Graveyard in Detroit Become Human, also known as like the worst scene in that whole game, 3 votes. Chloe Price, Life is Strange, 3 votes. Chairman Rose's Impatience, Pokemon Sword and Shield, 3 votes. We can't beat them conventionally, Mass Effect 3, 3 votes. Jason in Heavy Rain, 5 votes. Orsino's finale in Dragon Age 2, which was terrible, 6 votes. Everything to do with Kairi in the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, 6 votes. Ashley and Kaiden not trusting us on Horizon, Mass Effect 2, 7 votes. The Let It Go song in Kingdom Hearts 3, 7 votes. That's 2 Kingdom Hearts 3 scenes. Desmond's finale in Assassin's Creed 3, 9 votes. I don't actually agree with that one. Sylvanas defeating the third Lich King in World of Warcraft Shadowlands trailer. Doesn't technically count, but whatever. 11 votes. Sylvanas and the Atrocity of Teldrassil. 12 votes. Kai Lang, all combined, he's basically in one scene, right? 13 votes. The entire intro of Ride to Hell Retribution. You'll notice I've stopped mentioning Retribution things. I could have mentioned the worst character from Retribution, worst protagonist from Retribution. I'm just skipping over it. It wins all the worst categories, guys. Anyways, so the flash forward in Ride to Hell Retribution, 14 votes. My Face is Tired, Mass Effect Andromeda, 18 votes. Now, I don't agree with that one. It's not a good scene, but that's not even in the same category as some of these. And at number 1, with 95 votes, the Star Child Conversation, Mass Effect 3. By the way, there's worse scenes in Ride to Hell Retribution if we want to get into that. Enough said. By the way, on my own list, there's the intro to Mass Effect Andromeda, there's the Ride to Hell Retribution, which is cheating. Like, there's so many scenes I could pick from Ride to Hell Retribution. I would probably pick the outro, actually, as worse, but anyways. There's the Mass Effect 3 ending. But no, you know what the actual worst scene in a video game is for me? Blizzard Activision burning down my home. Moving on. Best scene in a game. Hang on, let's get forward a bit. A lot of good scenes to pick from. A lot of spread. Wow. So, all the past memories from Breath of the Wild, 0 votes. Tales of the Final Emperor of Pandaria, World of Warcraft, 0 votes. Sully meeting Vanitas in Kingdom Hearts 3. 1 vote. The Rise of Shurima in League of Legends, 1 vote. Ito, Cordova, and BD1, Jedi Fallen Order, 1 vote. The Final Climb Up the Mountain, Journey, 1 vote. The Tondog skit in World of Final Fantasy, 1 vote. Finding Polaris in Control, which I haven't played, 1 vote. Edward finally meeting Jennifer in Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, 2 votes. The Date with Papyrus in Undertale, 2 votes. The Connor and Hank buddy cop scenes in Detroit Become Human, 4 votes. Tiki's maximum bond conversation with Sairi, I have no idea what that is, but it's from Fire Emblem Awakening, and 4 votes. Naru raising Ori in Ori and the Blind Forest, 5 votes. Varian's fate on the Broken Shore in World of Warcraft Legion, 5 votes. Saving Rannoch, best ending, Mass Effect 3, 6 votes. Senua's refusal in Hellblade Senua, don't know what that is, 6 votes. Again, I'm trying to talk around these to avoid spoilers, but the Emmett Selk conclusion from FF14 Shadowbringers, Remember Us, Remember That We Lived, 7 votes. Ezio and the Messiah of Crypts, Assassin's Creed Revelations, ooh, that's a good one, 8 votes. Space, Portal 2, 9 votes. Lee's Final Fate at the end of Walking Dead Season 1, 9 votes. Successfully persuading the Archon of Justice in Tyranny, 9 votes. the final campfire scene in Final Fantasy 15. Oh, there's an emotional one. 9 votes. The reveal of what Project Zero Dawn was in Horizon Zero Dawn. 10 votes. Arthur's final scene. No comments. Red Dead Redemption 2. 12 votes. Ciri believing in herself. Witcher 3. 12 votes. Kratos getting his blades. Hang on. Kratos getting his blades in God of War 4, 13 votes. The true pacifist ending of Undertale with 23 votes. And here we go, the top 3. The conclusion of the Genophage with Mass Effect 3, 26 votes. The final credits of Nier Automata at Ending E, 31 votes. And the suicide mission in its entirety from Mass Effect 2, which wins with 35 votes. Although not by much of a margin. That is a hell of a spread for best scene. All of them, Slim Jim. Thank you very much for the bits. Do you know where you want to put them? So, for me, best scene, Lee's final scene in Walking Dead Season 1. Yeah. Arthur's final scene in Red Dead Redemption 2. Oh, that was a great. Granted, that was the scene. I'm specifically meaning the scene when you're more good than bad. You got it. Batman Arkham Trilogy. Thank you for the bits. But I have to pick the Tachanka finale if you do everything right. It's got a lot of the same emotional impact as the Arthur scene, but it also has all of the investment from the previous 2 games. It's probably the best conclusion of the Mass Effect series, in my opinion. Yeah, sorry guys. I hate to give the best scene of the decade to Mass Effect 3, but I stand by it. Worst villain. The answer is, of course, Caesar, who is the villain of Ride to Hell Retribution. But now that we're done cheating. No, seriously, if I didn't say the name Caesar, you'd probably be like, who? Alright, so worst villain of the last decade. Orsino, Dragon Age 2, no votes. Sebastian Vale, Dragon Age 2, no votes. Zavok, Sonic Lost World, 0 votes. Solus, Dragon Age Inquisition, 0 votes. Shieldbird, Pokemon Sword and Shield, 0 votes. Greymane, World of Warcraft Legion, 1 vote. Anders, Dragon Age 2, 2 votes. Swordward, Pokemon Sword and Shield, 2 votes. Rose, Pokemon Sword and Shield, 3 votes. Meredith, Dragon Age 2, 4 votes. Vishay, or however the hell they pronounce his stupid goddamn name, The Old Republic, 4 votes. Infinite from Song of Forces, 5 votes. Lysander, Pokemon X and Y, 6 votes. Corypheus, Dragon Age Inquisition, 8 votes. That should be higher. He was like one of the worst parts of that stupid game. Caesar, Ride to Hell Retribution, he's actually on the list. 8 votes. Lyric, Sonic Boom, 8 votes. The Elusive Man, Mass Effect 3, 11 votes. I Am the Archon, Mass Effect Andromeda, 12 votes. And at the top 3, Sylvanas Windrunner, World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth, 18 votes. And these 2 are only one pick across. For worst villain of the decade is Starchild with 56 votes and Kai Lang with 57 votes. Damn it, Mass Effect 3. What are you doing, son? Now, my pick is, of course, Caesar from Ride to Hell Retribution. However, we've also got the Archon and Lyric. Sonic Boom is just terrible. And Ranjit, who wasn't on this list. Ranjit can go to hell, as far as I'm concerned. As much as I hate myself for it, though, I have to act... Other than the obvious choice of Ride to Hell Retribution, I have to pick Kai Lang. We probably could make an entire stream. Most of me discussing Kai Lang is actually from a gameplay perspective, though. You know, cheating, boss cheating. Alright, best villain of the last decade. A lot of options here, including the Good Senator. The Good Senator to Banjo-Kazooie. I agree, Takoda. I'm just saying, I don't think we've ever sat down and discussed how awful he is story-wise. We normally just talk about how awful he is gameplay-wise. But yeah, Kai Lang is a frickin' textbook example of how not to do a boss, how not to do a character, how not to do a villain, how not to do a rival. Anyways, Lusamine, Pokemon Sun and Moon, 0. Guzma, Sun and Moon, 0. Silas, League of Legends, 0. Second Sister, Jedi Fallen Order, 0. Robotnik, Sonic, 1. Thresh, League of Legends, 1. Palpatine, Lego Star Wars, 1. Raul Menendez, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, 1 vote. Sylvanas, 1 vote. Jin, League of Legends, 2 votes. Arishok, Dragon Age 2, 2 votes. This is best villain, by the way. Artorias Colbrand from Tales of Berseria, 3 votes. N from Pokemon Black and White 2, 3 votes. Bowser from various Mario games, 3 votes. Caius from FF13, 2 and 3, 3 votes. Gul'dan from World of Warcraft, 3 votes. He should be higher. Wheatley, Portal 2, 4 votes. Vishay, Tor, 4 votes. Why is he on the best list? Arden, Final Fantasy 15, 5 votes. Pagan Min, Far Cry 4, probably saying that wrong, 5 votes. Micah Bell, Red Dead Redemption 2, 8 votes. The Narrator, Stanley Parable, 11 votes. Don't know if that counts. Master Xehanort from the Kingdom Hearts series, 11 votes. Flowey from Undertale, 14 votes. The Joker from Batman Arkham, whichever ones came out this decade, 17 votes. Emmett Selk in Final Fantasy 14 from 18 votes. Voss from Far Cry 3, which I wasn't aware came out this decade, 20 votes. Handsome Jack at number 3 for 22 votes. GLaDOS from Portal, 31 votes. And number 1 pick for best villain of the last decade is the Elusive Man, Mass Effect 2, 33 votes. Although that is a hell of a spread. He only won by 2 votes. And he was only 10 votes ahead of the one behind him. Or the one behind them, excuse me. Gontar O'Dim is not on this list. Nobody nominated him. For me, I was actually pretty torn on this. There is, of course, Gontar O'Dim, who was amazing. Gul'dan, I picked, who, quite frankly, I think Gul'dan is actually amazing in both Warlords and Legion. And Flowey, who... I don't want to spoil, but let's just say Flowey and move on. But my actual pick for best villain of the last decade is Emmett Selk. And all I'm going to say is that says a lot about how much his story impacted me. That has never stopped vibrating or echoing in my mind. Holy crap. I agree. Gul'dan was a great breath of fresh air in both things. Anyways, after Best Villain, we now have Worst Romantic Pairing. I don't know why this is a category. I agree, Rex. I agree completely. So, Worst Romantic Pairing. I'm just going to run through this. I don't think I even picked one for this, did I? No, I did. Worst Romantic Pairing is... I didn't look up their names, but it's the main character and all the women you have mindless sex with in Ride to Hell Retribution. We have Hawk and Sebastian, Dragon Age 2. Vincent and Catherine, that's C, Catherine. Catherine. Ezio and Sophia, Assassin's Creed Revelations. Inquisitor and Blackwall, Dragon Age Inquisition. Didn't I already play this song? Jacob and Bella, Twilight. That's a movie, not a game. Shepard and Kaiden, Mass Effect. Sarah and Snow, Final Fantasy 13. Hawk and Anders, Dragon Age 2. Shepard and Ashley, Mass Effect. Jim Raynor and Sarah Kerrigan, StarCraft. Noct and Luna, Final Fantasy 15. I kind of agree with that one. Katniss and Peeta, which is a movie. Shepard and Morinth from Mass Effect 2. Anastasia and Christian, that's a movie. Shepard and Jacob from Mass Effect, that's 19 votes. Finn and Rose, Star Wars The Last Jedi, which is a movie, 36 votes. Edward and Bella, which is a movie, 37 votes. And Kylo Ren and Rey, Star Wars, which is a 58 votes. My pick, other than the Ride to Hell Retribution one, is Shepard and Jacob. Not just because of Mass Effect 2, but especially because of Mass Effect 3. Best Romantic Pairing. Let me guess, there's going to be a lot of none. Yep, there's some movies in here too. So we got Inquisitor and Josephine, Dragon Age Inquisition, with 0. Hawk and Isabella, Dragon Age 2, with 0. Arno and Elise, Assassin's Creed Unity, with 0. The Inquisitor and Dorian in Dragon Age Inquisition, with 1. Lucian and Senna from League of Legends, with 1. There's romance in League of Legends? Garen and Katarina from League of Legends, 1. Vincent and Catherine, with a K from Catherine, 1. Bayek and Aya from Assassin's Creed Origins, which is hysterical since they broke up and it didn't work, but whatever. Inquisitor and Cullen, Dragon Age Inquisition, 2 votes. Zaya and Rakan, League of Legends, I'm sensing a trend here, 2 votes. Inquisitor and Cassandra, Dragon Age Inquisition, 3 votes. Shepard and Miranda, Mass Effect 2, 5 votes. Sarah and Snow, Final Fantasy 13. That should be 13 too, really, but whatever, 6 votes. James Raynor and Kerrigan, Sarah Kerrigan, StarCraft, 8 votes. Oh, that's starting to set a trend here. Kylo Ren and Star Wars. Peter Parker and Mary Jane, Spider-Man PS4, 13 votes. Shepard and Garrus, Mass Effect 2, 14 votes. Kairi and Sora. Really? Kingdom Hearts, 14 votes. Chloe and Max, Life is Strange, 16 votes. Tony and Pepper, which is a film. Shepard and Tali, 22 votes. And at number 2, Shepard and Liara for 33 votes. And at number 1, by a huge margin, Geralt and Yennefer, 51 votes. I am amused that the other Geralt pairing is not on this list. Triss. I can't even think of her name. Geralt and Triss. That's actually funny to me. My best pick was Shepard and Liara. As I've said many times, it's one of the only times I've actually believed a relationship in a video game, and that's not an often thing for me. I will admit, however, if not for the Lair of the Shadow Broker, that would not be true. Worst main protagonist. Yagami from Judgment with 3 votes. Edward Kenway, really? From Assassin's Creed 4, 3 votes. Alexios the Eagle Bearer, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, 8 votes. Dane from The Quiet Man, which again I don't know anything about, 20 votes. Galen Merrick, specifically Force Unleashed 2, 20 votes. I actually kind of agree with that one. Connor Kenway in Assassin's Creed 3, 28 votes. Now can I just interrupt really quick? That's unfair. I mean, I don't like Connor. I don't like Connor, and I still don't think he's even in the running for the worst protagonist of the decade. Kirito, Sword Art Online. Who? Unfortunately, someone nominated Ride to Hell Retribution. So at number 1 with a colossal lead is Jake Conway, who is the main character from Ride to Hell Retribution. For my own list, Jake Conway, who is frickin' cheating, but he is the worst protagonist of the last decade. After that, honestly, I was really torn between 2. Galen Merrick, which is the Force Unleashed 2, who was, I mean, I don't like Force Unleashed 2 at all. I really, really don't, especially narratively. The other one, I have a feeling some people would disagree with me on and hate me for. My other pick was Takayuki Yagami. He's the main character of Judgment. And frankly, half of why I didn't like the story of Judgment is because of him. As I talked about during the premiere run, he really, really, really didn't work for me. It felt like he was just completely out of place. Actively ruining a game like that. So, best protagonist of the decade. Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, 0 votes. Cal Kestis? Oh, Jedi Fallen Order, 0 votes. No opera. Bayek of Siwa, Assassin's Creed Origins, 0 votes. Edward Kenway, Assassin's Creed 4, 1 vote. Cassandra the Eagle Bearer, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, 1 vote. Ori from Ori and the Blind Forest, 2 votes. Red from Transistor, 2 votes. Ryder from Mass Effect Andromeda, 2 votes. Siri, not really qualifying, 2 votes. The Inquisitor from Dragon Age Inquisition, 3 votes. Aloy, however she said her name. Horizon Zero Dawn, 3 votes. Noctis, FF15, 4 votes. Hawk from Dragon Age 2, 4 votes. Nathan Drake from Uncharted, 4 votes. Senua from Cellblade, Anua, whatever, 5 votes. Peter Parker from Marvel Spider-Man PS4, 7 votes. Kratos from God of War 4, 11 votes. And at the top 4, we have Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2 with 24 votes. Ezio Auditore di Firenze from several Assassin's Creed games with 40 votes. Commander Shepard from Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, 48 votes. And at the top, Geralt of Rivia with 68 votes. I have to admit, I was actually very torn on this one. And what's funny is it's basically all of the top ones there. Kratos, Arthur, Geralt, and Ezio. It's really hard to pick from those for me. Arthur, even though he's only had one game, oh my god, he was an amazing character. Fully fleshed out, very well developed, wonderfully voice acted. Geralt, I don't even need to explain, really. Ezio was in 2 games this decade, one of which is one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games. He was in Brotherhood, which came out this decade, and he was in Revelations. And Ezio was Ezio. You know? Kratos, I don't have to explain. God of War 4. But yeah, the reason I don't want to put Shepard on the list is because because Mass Effect 3. Because Shepard was always a brick, but Shepard turned into someone actively stupid in Mass Effect 3. Narrative. Best overall narrative, worst overall narrative. So the worst overall narrative of the last decade. Last place, we have BattleTech with 1 vote. Beyond Two Souls with 2 votes. Call of Duty World War II with 2 votes. Fire Emblem Awakening with 3 votes. Battlefield 5 with 3 votes. Destiny 2 with 3 votes. Valkyria Chronicles 3 with 3 votes. Assassin's Creed Odyssey with 5 votes. Death Stranding with 7 votes. I agree with that, Twitter. Halo 5 with 10 votes. Destiny 1 with 14 votes. Zelda Breath of the Wild with 16 votes. WWE 2020 with 18 votes. That has a narrative? Does it really? I'm actually curious. The Quiet Man, 24 votes. And at number 3, Mass Effect Andromeda with 28 votes. At number 2, Mass Effect 3. Now, I don't agree with that at 30 votes. I know that sounds strange considering how much I've been bashing Mass Effect 3. There's too much good in Mass Effect 3 for me to put it in the worst narrative of the decade. Especially when we have Anthem, which wins with 52 votes. Now, my worst narrative of the decade is Ride to Hell Retribution. But after that, it just keeps being true. It's not my fault the game is garbage from... Ride to Hell Retribution is like the Emoji Movie of games of the last decade, okay? What do you want from me? But I actually have another game I picked, other than Anthem. Anthem would probably be the number 3 pick. But number 2 is Paper Mario Sticker Star. Think about it. If you've played it, you know what I'm talking about. No, I haven't played Death Stranding. Best. Let's get some positivity in here. Best narrative. Best overall narrative from a video game of the last 10 years. Witcher 3 won. So, let's just... Drakengard 3. 0 votes. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, 2 votes. Shadowrun Hong Kong, 2 votes. Black Ops 2, 2 votes. Shadowrun Dragonfall, 2 votes. Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, 3 votes. Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, 4 votes. Disco Elysium, 10 votes. Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers specifically, which is good, because I'm 10 floats. Tales from the Borderlands, 12 votes. I actually agree with that one. Portal 2, 14 votes. God of War 4, which had a phenomenal narrative, 15 votes. Horizon Zero Dawn, which also had a great narrative, 15 votes. Life is Strange, 16 votes. To the Moon, that's almost cheating, 19 votes. Nier Automata, 23 votes. And Witcher 3 by a frickin' mile, with 89 votes. That is over 60 more votes than the previous one. I can't argue that. Witcher 3 has the most story positives of any game I've ever reviewed, and I don't think that's going to change. I don't. I'm sorry, Witcher 3 has a phenomenal narrative. I've actually recommended several people pick up Witcher 3 with cheats, because two of my good friends basically didn't like the combat, and I was like, well, what didn't you like about it? And they started describing it, and I was like, well, that sounds exactly like my issues with the gameplay of Witcher 3. So I gave them that cheat mod that I used for the lore run, the one that allows you to just set, basically it gives you mega difficulty options and allows you to do all sorts of stuff. And I said, here, use this and play it. So now 2 of my friends are playing Witcher 3. So for any of you out there who want to play Witcher 3 for the amazing story and don't like the combat like I don't, allow me to recommend a mod. If I can find it. You're going to have to find me. Give me a second to find it here. There it is. You can find it on the Nexus. It is called God Mode Play How You Want To. I'm going to link it in chat here. And it's exactly what you want. If you want to play a mage, you can do that. If you want to play a sword person, you can do that. You can lock focus. You can lock stamina. You can never die. You can never have to breathe. You can jump infinite height. You can also make these things harder, by the way. If you want a harder game, you can make things harder. So I highly, and this, I'm not joking, I highly recommend you poke into this and try this mod out if you want to try Witcher 3 and do not like playing the gameplay. Yeah, someone clip this, please. That would make that a lot easier. Yeah, you can bleed the flash, because I did that. You can give yourself infinite bombs. You can make items stack to quad 9. You can give yourself max durability. You can remove level requirements. This mod is phenomenal. And again, you can make the game harder, easier, and everything in between, and it's all down the list. Use this mod, trust me. That will make Witcher 3 so much better. Oh, this is lyrics. Boop. Sorry. So, that's all for narrative. Yeah, Cyberpunk's come out in 3 months, guys. We have a lot to keep going through. I kind of need a break. So I'm going to go ahead and pause for a little. Well, nah, screw it. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a brief break. Not a full one. I'm just going to wash my face, refresh my water, stretch. I'm not going to eat lunch. I'm going to go without lunch today. And we're going to go ahead and push through the game overall, which is our final category. Let me pull up the game overall category here. There we go. Okay. And as it happens, I've already selected which playlist we'll be playing for the game overall category. Which is going to be this one. Back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Gameplay overall. Why is this still up? Go away. This is also our final category, by the way. So, most surprisingly bad game of the last decade. If I can find it. Hang on. Oh, yeah, it's in a weird... Right. Here it is. Most surprisingly bad game of the last decade. In last place, 0. Judgment. Or 0 votes. Judgment. Overwatch, 2 votes. Sims 4, 4 votes. Yeah, that one didn't surprise me. Halo 5, 5 votes. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, 6 votes. That one did surprise me. Sim City, 11 votes. I was considering that one. The problem is, Sim City, it was surprisingly bad, but it wasn't actually that bad. It was just really lackluster, especially coming out so closely to City Skylines. Death Stranding, haven't played it, 14 votes. Paper Mario Sticker Star, 14 votes. Assassin's Creed 3, 16 votes. Octopath Traveler, 22 votes. My God, I thought I was the only person who didn't like that game. I have to admit, Octopath Traveler surprised me. Mass Effect Andromeda, 40 votes. That's number 2, by the way. Gotta admit, I wasn't surprised by Andromeda. But the answer is Mass Effect 3. Most surprisingly bad game of the last decade, with 75 votes, is Mass Effect 3. That's 36% of the votes. Now, I didn't actually pick Mass Effect 3, and I want to explain why. But my pick was Paper Mario Sticker Star. And the reason why was because I went into Sticker Star expecting it to be Paper Mario 4, and what I got was gutter trash. Mass Effect 3 was a hell of a surprise, but it's not gutter trash, in my opinion. There is, as I've said many times, there's good parts in Mass Effect 3. There's having replayed it recently for the Ruminations, Mass Effect 3 has, in my opinion, the best gameplay overall of the 3 Mass Effects. There is certainly some flaws in that. The quest design is awful. The interface is terrible. The method by which you pick up quests is terrible. There's a couple specific areas which suck. But it had the best overall combat, the best talents and builds, and several areas which were really, really fun to push through. And it had the multiplayer, which was amazing. Even when we went back to replay Mass Effect 3, we remember when we did it for the lore run? This is like 5-6 years ago now, but we actually played multiplayer together, and it was still fun. I can't put Mass Effect 3 on this list, even though it was kind of the biggest surprise, because there was still a lot that I actually enjoyed about it. I didn't enjoy anything about Sticker Star. So that's why I picked Sticker Star over Mass Effect 3. Most surprisingly good game of the decade. Now, this one, there's a lot of games that I was not expecting to like this last decade. I wasn't expecting to like... Well, I'll get to mine in a second. Let's do your guys' list first. So first we have Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. 1 vote. Terminator Resistance, which I believe just came out. 3 votes. Warhammer 40k, Space Marine, with 5 votes. Warframe, I'll give you that one, with 7 votes. Days Gone, I actually agree with that completely. For those of you not aware, my Days Gone rumination just went live last Friday. And I was surprised by how good that game is. It looked like such a generic, post-apocalypse Last of Us clone. It was actually a good game. In fact, I personally like it better than Last of Us. But moving on. Tetris 99. I'll give you that one too. Also known as the only good Battle Royale game out there. Nier Automata. Moving on. Detroit Become Human. Again, I was pretty surprised by that. As I said when we were playing it, that was the first David Cage game that I actually enjoyed. And I've played several of them. Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. Now that one got 14 votes. I couldn't pick that because even though ARR was a big jump up and, surprisingly good, the fact is, at the time, ARR was still just kind of for me. If you remember, I actually went back through ARR back when it first came out, and I was like, this is a lot better. Still pretty flawed, though, and I just put it back down. And then I picked it up one other time, which I forget when exactly. It was somewhere around Heaven's Word. And then I picked it up for real around Stormblood and slogged through ARR, and I was like, oh. So I can't say FF14. Hell of a turnaround, but not surprisingly that good. Which leads us to God of War 4. Why is this on this list? God of War 4 got 15 votes. Now, granted, I was a fan of God of War 1, 2, and 3, as well as the PSP games, so for me, another good God of War game was just, yeah, okay. Why is this such a surprise? Can anyone answer? I'm actually curious on this one. Was it really Estus Flakes? Wow. Granted, God of War 4 might be my favorite of the franchise. It's actually probably my favorite. It's my favorite narratively, definitely. I think God of War 2 actually surpasses it in gameplay, though. Either way, next one. Witcher 3. Now, this was one of my big surprises of the decade. I know I've said this story 1,000 times, but I walked into Witcher 3 not expecting to like it. And funnily enough, I kind of don't still, gameplay-wise. But you get my point, right? I walked into Witcher 3... I bought Witcher 3 without the intent to play it, because at no point I expected to like it. Witcher 3 was okay. Excuse me, I said that wrong. Witcher 1 was okay, but I actively didn't like Witcher 2, as I've said several times. Witcher 3 was like... I hate to keep gushing about Witcher 3, but I was completely surprised by how good it was. I still am surprised, really. We'll see if Cyberpunk manages it. Tied with Witcher 3, or 17 votes, is most surprisingly good game of the decade, Untitled Goose Game. Moving on. The third... Yeah, that's the meme answer. The third most surprisingly good game of the decade. This one I'm not sure what to make of. Minecraft. I could kind of see this a little bit. Oh, also the gameplay sucks. Console hot. The story wasn't interesting and the gameplay is garbage. But anyways, moving on. You want me to explain what I don't like about Witcher 2 in a nutshell? It's very simple. Witcher 2 was the prototype of Witcher 3. And it was a necessary prototype, and I'm glad they did it, but they very clearly had no idea what they were doing with Witcher 2, and it showed. Anyways, so Minecraft, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll give you Minecraft. Which leads us into the second most surprisingly good game of the decade, Undertale. I know that people like to meme, and I know that people like to say that their fan base is awful, though I've never actually encountered that personally. But as far as surprisingly good, yeah. Which leads us to the most surprisingly good game of the decade, with 43 votes. And this actually bothers me a bit to see this, because I haven't played this game yet. It's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Now, I'm going to be playing that game later this month. I'm trying real hard to walk in as neutral as I can. But near as I could tell, this is more leaning on the surprise thing than on the good thing. I mean, I gotta be blunt. If Star Wars Jedi Order, which I haven't played yet, of course, is passable, I will still consider that a huge jump up because it's EA. So this is kind of a sure kind of a thing. Because again, big surprise. Yeah, okay, that's the category, right? For me, for most surprisingly good, there's actually 2 games that I have on that list. One of them is Undertale, for reasons I've already mentioned. The other is Yakuza 0. Now, how many of you were there for the Yakuza 0 stream? Now, for those of you not aware, I wasn't a fan of the Yakuza series. I wasn't a fan of the series I can't think of the name of right now. That Shenmue. I wasn't a Shenmue fan. I wasn't a Yakuza fan. And I walked into that thinking, all right, I'll put up with it, whatever. And one of the first things I found out about it was the fact that it had no English voice acting. And I'm just like, oh, really? Okay. I walked into Yakuza 0 expecting to despise it. That is why Yakuza 0 is such a surprisingly good game for me. Because not only is it a big surprise, but it's also a really good game, in my opinion. Very fun to play, very interesting storyline, absolutely ridiculous, made me laugh several times, and also managing to be a serious cop drama. Yakuza 0, for better or for worse, was my first real exposure to the Yakuza series. And, that was a shocker. Thank you, Muhammad Elvis. So, I can mention other ones. I didn't expect to like Subnautica as much as I did. I didn't expect to like Witcher 3, you know. But those 2 are the big ones for me. Where the heck are your donations? Oh my god, I should just put you off to the side because you keep giving me bits. Here you are. Max Payne. There we go. Put you down at the bottom here so I can see you fighter. Okay. Next category. And yes, dubs are much better than subs, I agree. So, let's do some categories. Best action game of the last decade. This was a really generic category, so we got stuff from all over the place here. For you guys, we have Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, 1 vote. Assassin's Creed Revelations, 1 vote. Darksiders 2, 2 votes. What is my computer doing? Hang on, let's just pull this over here. Whoa, there we go. Okay, let's do this. We're going to readjust our setup here. Where was I? Darksiders 2, 2 votes. Hyrule Warriors Legends, 3 votes. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, 4 votes. Middle-earth Shadow of War, 6 votes. Bioshock 2, 6 votes. Is that this decade? Warhammer 40k, Space Marine, 7 votes. Overwatch, 7 votes. Overwatch, really? Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, 8 votes. Bioshock Infinite, I'm not sure I agree with that one, 8 votes. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate technically counts, 11 votes. And our top 4, in the number 4 list, Batman Arkham City with 23 votes. As my favorite of the Arkham series, I can kind of see that. It is a really good game, in my opinion. Number 3, Marvel's Spider-Man PS4, which, again, a very good game. It had a few flaws, mostly in the combat area, but for the most part, very, very good game. And number 2, with 43 votes, almost double Spider-Man, Sekiro. God, I wanted to like that game. I was watching a speedrun of it. Friday, I think it was. Saturday, something. Whenever they added it. And I was like, God, I actually recognized it. Because I knew the game. If you remember, I kind of played through the game 3 times in rapid succession. You know, 1 full playthrough and then 1 new game plus and then 1 new game plus. And I was like, I could tell where he was going and I could tell what he was doing and I could appreciate his combos and I could appreciate his things. And I didn't enjoy it. And that makes me so sad. I wanted to. But that leaves us with the top best action game of the last decade with 63 votes, Doom 4. I mean, it's a good shooter. Might also put that under the surprisingly good category. After Doom 3, I wasn't expecting anything. But Doom 4 just being awesome was just... whoa, like, you know. Oh, and of course, the real pick is Witcher 3. I'm kidding. For me, best action game, I was actually very torn on this one. Because there's Witcher 3... No, I'm kidding. I was very, very torn because there's actually been a lot of really good action games in the last decade. Mass Effect 2, Assassin's Creed 4. Actually, I gave my best action game to Yakuza 0. Because I never got bored of the combat in Yakuza 0. And there's not a lot of games I could say that about. Even games where I enjoy the combat. After a while, I get to start auto-Aing. I loved fighting in Yakuza 0. Anyways, strategy. Strategy. Here we go. Best strategy game of the last decade. Teamfight Tactics, 1 vote. Total War Rome 2, 2 votes. Agreed, Dakota. Age of Wonders Planetfall, 2 votes. SteamWorld Heist, I guess that counts, 4 votes. Hearthstone, 4 votes. Does that count? Total War Shogun 2, which is technically on here twice. 11 votes. Hearts of Iron 4, 8 votes. I know we're doing this weird, just bear with me. Civilization 6, 9 votes. Now, Europa Universalis 4 probably shouldn't actually be on this list, but DLCs, and it's just kind of the nature of the game, so whatever. 12 votes. And in 4th place, we have Total War Warhammer 2, also known as the only Total War game I've ever really enjoyed. 15 votes. Civilization 5, I'm going to be talking about that one in a bit, with 25 votes. Stellaris, wait, did it really, Darth McTators? Oh, wow. Stellaris in 2nd place with 39 votes. Now, this surprised me. You guys voted that the best strategy game of the last decade is StarCraft 2. With 42 votes. And what's funny is when I think about that, I actually think I agree. Because StarCraft 2 is an incredibly good game. Like in terms of the gameplay. And I know a lot of people don't like the story, and that's fine. But in terms of the interface and the HUD and the smoothness and the units and the variety and the co-op mode and the campaigns and just lots and lots of fantastic gameplay decisions in StarCraft 2. Yeah, that's absolutely my pick as well. And it's funny because I was actually very torn because Civ 5 with expansions is my favorite Civilization game. Stellaris is my favorite Space 4X game. Europa Universalis 4 is a game I still have installed. I don't have a lot of time to play it, but, there's tons of fun. But I had to give that one to StarCraft 2. Yeah, it is, in my opinion, probably the best RTS we've ever had. Make of that what you will. So, that leaves us with Best Simulator. We didn't have a lot of competition on this one. So we have Surviving Mars with 6 votes. Goat Simulator with 8 votes. That's not a simulator. Football Manager with 9 votes. No Man's Sky with 9 votes. Elite Dangerous with 17 votes. And then in the top 3, pretty close to each other. Number 3, we have City Skylines, which is my personal favorite SimCity game of all time. Stardew Valley. Hang on. It's on the same playlist as my Morrowind playlist. I have to admit, Stardew Valley feels like kind of a technically for simulator, but then again, Goat Simulator's on it for some reason, so whatever. Then again, the one that won, the one that's actually the very top, is Minecraft with 52 votes. By the way, over 75% of the votes are the top 3, Minecraft, Stardew Valley, and City Skylines. Personally, I gave this to City Skylines because I wasn't even thinking of Stardew Valley as a simulator, and I wasn't even thinking of Minecraft, although I wouldn't pick Minecraft. So yeah, for me, City Skylines, easy answer. I mean, that's a fantastic game, and like I said, it's my favorite city game. Favorite city game. So abso-frickin-lutely. By the way, City Skylines on the list for funding for a future run because it had some DLC, just saying. Anyway, so moving on, we now have Best RPG. Now, we had a lot of RPGs this decade, and this one was actually rough for me. So, Skyward Sword, which shouldn't be on this list, God of War 4, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Really, guys? South Park: A Stick of Truth had 1 vote. Fractured Yet Whole had 3 votes. That's not an RPG. Horizon Zero Dawn, 3 votes. Outer Worlds, 4 votes. Kingdom Hearts 3, 4 votes. Pillars of Eternity 2, 5 votes. Dragon Age Inquisition, 5 votes. Dragon Quest 11, 6 votes. Excuse me. Undertale had 10 votes. I'm surprised Undertale's this far down. Skyrim had 12 votes. Breath of the Wild, Zelda Breath of the Wild had 12 votes. Who the hell? That's not even an RPG. Anyways, Divinity Original Sin 2 had 18 votes. And the top 3, we had Persona 5 with 29 votes, Mass Effect 2 with 37 votes, and Witcher 3 with 97 votes. Now, I'm going to give you my answer. Divinity Original Sin 2 is my answer. And I want to explain why a little bit. Because Pillars of Eternity 2, I liked quite a bit. Undertale, I loved, obviously, although I've never played it again. Witcher 3, I have to cheat to enjoy. DOS 2, I don't. DOS 2 is an extremely rare example of a game where I love the gameplay and story pretty much, both. Now, that being said, I think I enjoy this. The story in DOS 2 isn't its best point. I'll freely admit that. But the overall gameplay design of DOS 2 is phenomenal. The encounter design, the terrain, the options, the builds, the area. There's just so much that I absolutely love about playing DOS 2. I've actually played through DOS 2 3 times now. And I am doing a co-op playthrough with PAX off and on for a 4th playthrough. Make of that what you will. Best Metroidvania. Go ahead, pull this up here. No, Goldtech. Might be a review, though. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Okay, so Best Metroidvania. SteamWorld Dig 2 with 2 votes. Iconoclasts with 3 votes. Guacamelee with 3 votes. Sultan Sanctuary, also known as 2D Dark Souls, with 5 votes. Axiom Verge, a game that needs more attention, in my opinion, 5 votes. Dead Cells, which I've only ever seen a speedrun of, 7 votes. Bloodstained, with 7 votes. All of those have less than a quarter of the votes. The top 3 have about 80% of the total votes. Number 3, Ori and the Blind Forest, with 35 votes. Number 2, Hollow Knight, with 39 votes. And number 1, Dark Souls, with 52 votes. I don't even like Dark Souls, and I can't really argue that. Dark Souls 1, specifically, by the way. It's not my pick, of course, because I don't like Dark Souls. I picked SteamWorld Dig 2. Seriously, I need to plug the SteamWorld series, Mo. If you like Metroidvanias, do yourself a favor, look into SteamWorld Dig 2. Specifically 2. The first game is kind of it's not really a Metroidvania, and there's actually another game which is not really a Metroidvania at all. But SteamWorld Dig 2 is a very good Metroidvania, in my opinion. I highly recommend picking it up. So, best 3D platformer. If something doesn't win this, okay, so Sonic Generations, which barely counts, but sure. Yeah, I haven't played the Bloodstained one yet. You're welcome, Melkor. Oh, yeah, we're up to Stellaris. Sorry. I left it play after Stardew Valley. Back down to Morrowind here. Okay, so best 3D platformer. Sonic Generations with 5 votes. Ratchet and Clank, the PS4 one, with 11 votes. A Hat in Time, which I actually haven't played, for 17 votes. Super Mario Galaxy 2, also known as a awesome 3D platformer, 22 votes. Journey, which I don't think even belongs on this list, with 24 votes. And in the lead with almost half the total votes, Super Mario Odyssey, which in my opinion, abso-frickin-lutely deserves that. No joke or exaggeration, Mario Odyssey is my favorite 3D platformer ever. And that is some extremely esteemed category. You guys remember when I came back and I was like, okay guys, we're playing Mario Odyssey, I need to smile. You remember that? You remember how much fun I was having just playing that game again? Oh my god. Just... whew. Which leaves us with best 2D platformer. So... oh, that's surprising. Kirby's Return to Dreamland, 0 votes. Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, 0 votes. Kirby Triple Deluxe, that's true, Hazardous, 1 vote. Kirby Planet Robobot, 2 votes. Mario 3D Land, which is stretching it, 3 votes. Sonic Generations, haha, 3 votes. Sonic Colors, which is also stretching it, 3 votes. Rayman Origins, 5 votes. Rayman Legends, 7 votes. Mark of the Ninja, which I haven't gotten to play yet, 7 votes. Fez, which really is stretching it, 10 votes. And our top 3, in third place with 17 votes, Sonic Mania. In second place with 37 votes, Celeste, also known as a game I also try to plug as much as possible. But number 1, and frankly it deserves this, is Shovel Knight. I mean, even if this was just Shovel Knight vanilla, it would probably still be my favorite. But you have to consider that...
pay close attention. Hopefully you'll learn something.
You have to consider Shovel Knight and Plague Knight and Spectre Knight and King Knight. And each of them is effectively a separate game. And if you bought Shovel Knight in the beginning, then you have all 4, like I do. I've actually gone out of my way to keep buying them, to keep them in business. I'm going to talk about that when we get to that stream. Like, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze was actually one of my picks, Melkor, funnily enough. Looking at my best 2D platformer, I had Celeste and Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. But I'm sorry, Shovel Knight just smashes them out of the water. For me, I'm sorry. Alright, who just donated? Who was that? It was Ojunix who says, Lore, I hate you. Why are you dumb? Well, see, the answer is because I'm putting money towards Digimon. And, I mean, obviously, the only reason I would ever be dumb is to put money towards Digimon. Thank you very, very much, Ojunix. Much obliged, as always, sir. What's next? Okay, so now we're getting into a couple other things. Worst expansion or DLC. Shovel Knight does have co-op now. I think that's only with the most recent expansion, though. King of Cards. So, worst expansion DLC of the decade. Here we go. So our options are, in order, Taken King from Destiny 1, 0 votes. Kingdom Hearts, 1 vote. The Elite Status DLC from Madden 2010, 6 votes. Warlords of Draenor, World of Warcraft, 10 votes. Everything to The Sims, Sims 4, that would be, 12 votes. And then we have Battle for Azeroth, World of Warcraft, 22 votes. And number 2, the extended ending of Mass Effect 3, 31 votes. And this one is a cheat, and looking back at it, I think I shouldn't have added this. Yes, it came on in the middle of the night last night, comma, woke me up even, period. I had a major power outage for about 5 hours yesterday. Number 1, by a ridiculous majority percentage, is live services across, take your pick. Just live services. Now, to me, that was a bit cheating, so I didn't pick that one. And Right to Hell Retribution, I don't think ever had a DLC, so that didn't count. I mean, live services totally counts, and I'm going to cheat a bit here, so I'm kind of with you on that. But assuming that is cheating, I picked another one. BioShock Infinite, Burial at Sea. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why? I can't actually answer without spoiling. I do talk about it in The Rumination, which is coming out later this year, I believe. So, best expansion DLC for the last decade. We had a bunch of good ones, and Witcher 3 is probably going to win. So, at the very bottom, we have Lore Mom. Yeah, it was pretty bad, period. I actually went out and about because I didn't want to fall asleep that early, comma. Here, I'll send you a picture of how dark it was, period. And then I sent her a pic. It was pitch black around here. I live in the city, guys. It was pitch black because the entire district or region or grid or whatever's bigger than a grid was out. Like if you looked at a map, it was just like 10 miles. Anyways, so best DLC expansion for the last decade. Lifeblood from Hollow Knight. Oh, that startled the hell out of me. Niscosta, who wants to put that towards BioShock. Thank you very, very much, Niscosta. I'll put that towards BioShock. God, there's a lot of donations to go through today. Hidden Dreams, Hollow Knight. I didn't know Hollow Knight had any DLC. Curse of the Pharaohs, Assassin's Creed Origins. Again, this is, best. Heaven's Word, Final Fantasy XIV. Godmaster, Hollow Knight. Seriously? The Grim Troop, Hollow Knight. Are there any other ones? No, okay, that's it. We're done with Hollow Knight. The Hidden Ones, Assassin's Creed Origins. Burial at Sea, BioShock Infinite. Dragonborn for Skyrim. Mists of Pandaria for World of Warcraft. Cataclysm for World of Warcraft. Undead Nightmare for Red Dead Redemption 1. War of the Chosen for XCOM 2. Artorias of the Abyss, Dark Souls 1. Legion, World of Warcraft. Shadowbringers, Final Fantasy XIV. And our top 4, Lair of the Shadowbroker for Mass Effect 2. Heart of Stone for Witcher 3. The Citadel DLC for Mass Effect 3. I'm surprised that one was that high. Now, the Citadel DLC had 25 votes, but Blood and Wine had 70. This is my surprised face. Lore Shock. Now, yes to both, comma. They're on their way, period. I'm surprised that spread is that big. Thank you very, very much, as ever and always, Mr. Red. Much obliged and appreciated. I've already put those towards Hedon. Best expansion DLC for me. Well, my first thought was Mists of Pandaria, World of Warcraft. But I was like, nah, it's cheating. WoW's cheating. So then I thought Legion. I was like, wait, it's still cheating. So then I started thinking about it. And ultimately, as much as the Witcher 3 DLC's expansions are fantastic, and they are, I also had quite a few issues with both of them. So there were two I was actually equally tied between, and I haven't really picked between these even as of this very moment. One of them is Dragon Age Origins Awakening, because that came out in the last decade. And the other one is XCOM 2 War of the Chosen, which took an already good game and turned it into my personal favorite game of that genre. So, but it's probably Pandaria or Legion. Anyways, probably Legion, I'd say, if I had to pick one. Moving on, we have to pick the worst game franchise of the decade. At the bottom we have Destiny, which only had 2 games. That barely counts. 4 votes. We had Star Trek, which I think had 2 games. which is 7 votes. We had Game of Thrones, which has had one game that I'm aware of. So that's 8 votes. Oh, I'm sorry. There's some... Well, whatever. Worst game franchise of the decade. Then we have Fallout, which had Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, and New Vegas, as we tend to forget. So, 12 votes. A movie, which doesn't count. And in second place, for 71 votes, Star Wars. Now, I have a feeling that that's memey, but I'll get to that in a second. In first place for worst gaming franchise of the decade, EA Sports. 79 votes. I don't actually agree with that, because frankly, Madden and FIFA have started getting better, not worse. My pick is Star Wars. And the reason why is because, have you looked at the Star Wars games that have come out in the last 10 years? No, really. Have you? Most of them are on this. I'll just give that away. Oh, I'm sorry, period. I've had pretty good fortune with them here, comma, but they also have a distribution facility, so that's probably why, period. But yeah, like, this Star Wars games this whole decade have just been drag. Now, I haven't played Jedi Fallen Order, but if I do and I like it, that'll make one decent Star Wars... That's not true. 2 decent Star Wars games in the last decade, because I'm one of those weirdos who actually kind of enjoys Tor. Star Wars The Old Republic. Moving on to best game franchise of the decade. We have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which wins with 75 votes. It's not a game. Have we had any MCU games? I guess we kind of have. Because we had like that Lego Hulk game and whatever. Whatever, moving on. We have Star Trek at 2, League of Legends at 2, Warcraft at 3, Mario at 5, StarCraft at 6, Star Wars at 7. Okay, no. The Expanse, which is a TV show and a series of books. Zelda, which is 17. Game of Thrones, which again has had one game come out in the last decade. It has. The Game of Thrones game for Telltale did come out this decade. Doesn't freaking count. Which means the only best franchise of the decade thing on this that got any votes was The Witcher. Which I really disagree with. Or you could just give it to the MCU. Take your pick. I don't even care. Moving on. Oh, there was Darth McTaters. I didn't even know that. So, most aggressively average game of the decade. Let me find that category. Oh yeah, what was my best franchise of the decade? Oh yeah, you know what my best franchise of the decade was? Mario. Now, I was actually torn, because we've actually had some really good Kingdom Hearts games. We've had some good Zelda games, but I want you to think about Mario Galaxy 2, Mario 3D World, Mario Kart 8, Mario Maker 2, and Mario Odyssey. All of that has come out in the last 10 years. Now, there's some stinkers there. Paper Mario Sticker Star, which I've brought up several times. But, yeah, no, I'm giving it to Mario as the best franchise of the decade. So, most aggressively average game. I gotta find this category. Give me just a second. It's all out of order here. I forgot to. There it is. Okay. So, we have Pokemon Oros, 0 votes. Lost Sphere, 1 vote. Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon, 2 votes. Tropico 6, 8 votes. New Super Mario Bros. 2, 8 votes. Pokemon Let's Go, 8 votes. Pokemon X and Y, 10 votes. Pokemon Sword and Shield, 16 votes. I Am Setsuna, 14 votes. I just wanted to do the Pokemons in a row. Knack. Anyone even remember Knack? 22 votes, apparently. Some of you do. Anthem, 22 votes. And Mass Effect Andromeda, 63 votes. Now, I gave it to Andromeda. And the reason I gave it to Andromeda is because it literally made me coin the term aggressively average when it comes to my reviews. And I stand by it. Like, for all the bad that is in Andromeda, most of the bad was just kind of, eh. And most of the good was just kind of, eh. Like, if you saw my stream, the whole time I was just like, eh, okay. It was just kind of there. It was wallpaper paste. Yeah, weirdly enough, going to the final mission was surprisingly good. It's very strange. I did very much enjoy the builds of Andromeda because it actually had honest-to-God builds. And I loved the jetpack, and I actually liked the vehicle, too. And then there were worlds which were terrible. Andromeda was all over the place. Let's go ahead and do the best and worst of each year, shall we? Worst game of 2010. I spent some time researching this, so I'm going to look at your guys' first. Then I'll give you my answers. Oh, that's a spread. Wow. Worst game of 2010. At the bottom, Red Steel 2 with 4 votes. I've actually played that. It was on the Wii. Heavy Rain with 9 votes. Sonic the Hedgehog 4, not sure which one that is, with 13 votes. Final Fantasy 14 with 29 votes. Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2 with 32 votes. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, which I'm just going to assume there's a game version of that, 32 votes. And right at the top, just barely, was Metroid Other M. God, do you remember Metroid Other M? I have nightmares of it to this very day. That's a joke, but I do think Metroid Other M sucks. Give me like an hour or 5, Mr. Red. This is not a good time for random questions. Just like copy that and save it somewhere. Ask me tomorrow. Now for me, so worst game of 2010. Like I said, I made a list. So we have Force Unleashed 2, which was dreck. It wasn't even fun. Metroid Other M, which was terrible. Now I'm going to name 3 games that's going to make you look at me weird. One of them is Star Trek Online. You remember STO? When it came out? Because I do. I played STO when it came out. I actually beta tested STO. STO was terrible when it came out. Speaking of which, Civilization 5. Civ 5 at launch was kind of boring, which you never want in a 4X game. But more than that, it was buggy as crap. How many of you remember the bug that made it so that each turn took longer than the previous turn to load? Until it got to the point where 2 or 3 or 5 minutes would happen in between you hitting next turn. I remember that bug. But the one that wins for me for worst game of 2010 is Final Fantasy XIV. Because I also played FF14 at launch. I played FF14 at 1.0. And as I've said before, it is the worst MMO I have ever played. So that's my worst list for 2010. Let's do best for 2010. Boop. So, we have Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, Sonic Sega All-Stars Racing, Dante's Inferno, XM, Fruit Ninja, Skate 3, Donkey Kong Country Returns, Bioshock 2, Sonic Colors, Heavy Rain, Limbo, Star Trek Online, Final Fantasy XIII, and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, all of which have 3 or less votes. Thank you very much, XM. And as ever, if you know where you'd like to put that, please let me know. Gotta readjust everything. With 7 votes, we have Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. With 8 votes, we have Mario Galaxy 2. With 8 votes, we have Civilization 5. I think you're forgetting how that game was at launch. With 14 votes, we have StarCraft 2, Wings of Liberty. With 15 votes, we have Red Dead Redemption 1. With 46 votes, triple, we have Fallout New Vegas. But Mass Effect 2 absolutely stomps Fallout New Vegas into the ground by double with an astonishing 95 votes. Yes, someone remembered Fallout New Vegas existed when doing the nominations. Remember, I didn't nominate anything. This is all on you guys. For me, so we had Mega Man 10 came out in 2010, which is actually among my favorite Mega Man games. Might actually be my favorite Mega Man game. Red Dead Redemption. Octodad came out in 2010. 3D Dot Game Heroes came out in 2010. XM putting his donation towards Dragon Age Origins came out in 2010. And Assassin's Creed 2 came out in 2010. So, oh, and of course, the other one. But there were 3 games that I found myself very I couldn't pick, 4 games I couldn't pick between. There's Mass Effect 2, which, I've well-documented love of. There's Mario Galaxy 2, which was my favorite 3D Mario platformer until 2 games surpassed it. There's StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty, which, as I already mentioned, basically the best RTS ever made, and I actually liked the story. And then there's Fallout New Vegas. I can't pick amongst these 4. All of these have flaws. All of them have issues. Mario Galaxy 2 suffers from a lack of story. StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty suffers from Hollywood effect. Mass Effect 2 suffers from problems with regards to the plot and gameplay. And Fallout New Vegas suffers from being buggy as crap. And also being a game that I don't enjoy playing as much as Fallout 3. So I can't pick amongst those. So moving on to 2011. Which is this direction. Worst game of 2011. What have we got here? So we have Man vs. Wild with 4 votes. FIFA 2012 with 6 votes. The Sims Free Play, I'm not even sure what that is, with 8 votes. Third Birthday with 8 votes. For those of you not aware, Third Birthday is the third Parasite Eve game. It's terrible. It's on the PSP. Star Wars The Old Republic, 15 votes. The Black Eyed Peas Experience, I have no idea what that is, 16 votes. Dragon Age 2, 16 votes. And 87 votes for Duke Nukem Forever. Hard to argue. However, I am going to argue it. So, my own list. Catherine came out that year, which I didn't care for. Tor. No, actually, I'm kidding. Tor, for all its many, many, many flaws, and it has so many, I can't put it on a worst list. There's too much of the story I enjoy. And there's actually some good gameplay design decisions in that game, too. No, the worst game that came out in 2011 is clearly Dark Souls. I'm kidding. No. I'm still kidding. No, my real, actual answer for worst game of 2011, and I am astonished this wasn't even on the list, is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. And if you don't know why, I did a lore run on it. Please go watch it. I shred the game. Frickin' Modern Warfare 3. God damn it. Best game of 2011. I already know what I think is going to win this, but let's see here. Can I condense it? No. Everything is wrong with it. Space Wizards. That's what's wrong with Modern Warfare 3. So, best game of 2011. We have Sonic Generations, no votes. Super Mario 3D Land, no votes. Warhammer 40k Space Marine, 1 vote. Alice Madness Returns, 1 vote. Magicka, 1 vote. Mortal Kombat, that's the reboot, 1 vote. Kirby's Return to Dreamland, good game, 2 votes. Rayman Origins, 2 votes. Skyward Sword, 3 votes. Dragon Age 2, 4 votes. Assassin's Creed Revelation, 5 votes. Total War Shogun 2, 7 votes. Bastion, 8 votes. Minecraft, 15 votes. Batman Arkham City, 16 votes. Portal 2, 20 votes. Deus Ex Human Revolution, 28 votes. Dark Souls, 42 votes. And yet I am surprised because Skyrim wins with 67 votes. That's a big jump, too. I actually am surprised. I figured Dark Souls would win that one. Good games that year. I'm just going to list some of my favorite games from that year. We had Little Big Planet 2. Bionic Commando 2 Rearmed. That was when Pokemon Black and White came out. Also known as Gen 5. Also known as the best Pokemon game, probably. Bastion came out. Deus Ex Human Revolution. Batman Arkham City. Sonic Generations. Assassin's Creed Revelations came out that year. Portal 2 came out that year. Minecraft came out that year. But I was thinking about it, and you're all going to look at me so strange, but my favorite game of 2011, my best game of 2011, is Dissidia Duodecim. Great combat, great story, and it includes Dissidia 1 baked into the game and made better. What's not to like? Like, nothing on that list. The only thing on that list that comes close to Dissidia Duodecim for me is Assassin's Creed Revelations. In my opinion. So, 2012. Worst game of 2012. Subway Surfers, never heard of that. Amy, never heard of that. SimCity Social, not sure what that is. Final Fantasy 13 2. Fable the Journey? What the heck is that? FIFA 2013, that sounds familiar. Resident Evil 6. The War Z? Huh? Paper Mario Sticker Star, which is actually at 4th. In 3rd, we have Assassin's Creed 3. Now, come on. AC3 wasn't that bad. I think I showed that off during the AC lore run. AC3 is not that bad. Number 2, though. Star Wars Kinect, the dancing game. I'm going to say something really strange here. It's not that bad of a game. It's not. It's stupid. But that's kind of the point. It is ridiculously, supplantingly stupid. It's pure meme thing. Dancing off to the Emperor as he's like, you have defeated me. Yeah, the only thing, I'll give you that, the only thing that would be bad about it is the Kinect itself. But no, the worst game of 2012 by your guys' votes by a large margin is Mass Effect 3. Again, I'm not sure I can agree with that. I can name two other games I think are much worse than Mass Effect 3 that came out in 2012. Now, hear me out. One of them, this is going to be a recurring trend. One of them is Guild Wars 2. How many of you remember Guild Wars 2 as when it launched, when it came out? Guild Wars 2 is a game that's awesome now, in my opinion. I'm playing Guild Wars 2 at the moment. I'm going through the ice thing. But Guild Wars 2 at launch? Ugh. But no, my actual worst game of 2012 is Paper Mario Sticker Star. I feel like I've established why plenty of times, so let's just move on. Yeah, Paper Mario Sticker Star is just Drek. So, best game of 2012, right? That's where we're at? Yes, best game of 2012. So, Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed. Haven't played that. Black Ops, Modern Warfare Black Ops 2. Mark of the Ninja. Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. Darksiders 2, Final Fantasy 13-2, Diablo 3 at launch, Borderlands 2, Dragon's Dogma, Fire Emblem Awakening. These are so tied, by the way. Each of these has 10% of the vote. So, Dragon's Dogma, Fire Emblem Awakening, Xenoblade Chronicles, Crusader Kings 2, Far Cry 3, Journey, and Enemy Unknown are basically tied for second. The only one that beats all of those is Dishonored, which has 35 votes as opposed to 20. Dishonored 1, obviously. Go figure. Looking at my own best list, if I might add some to the list, so we have Kingdoms of Amalur, Tales of the Abyss, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, FTL, which came out in 2012. How's that for feeling old? Pokemon Black and White 2, New Super Mario Bros. U, yes really, it's a good game, Borderlands 2, Telltale Walking Dead Season 1, which came out in 2012, Dishonored, as mentioned, and Journey. Now, technically, my best game of 2012 is actually Mists of Pandaria, but as I've said before, WoW stuff feels like cheating. So rather than picking that, because Pandaria was amazing, I think I'm actually going to go with another choice that wasn't on the list at all, XCOM Enemy Unknown. Now, while that game has since been surpassed, that game reignited a love of turn-based, grid-based tactical RPGs for me, which had basically died since then. Or prior to then, excuse me. So, I ate that one up. Worst of 2013 now. Dota 2, Final Fantasy 13-3, FIFA 2014, Dead Space 3, Flappy Bird, SimCity, that's the terrible SimCity. And in second place, all of those have hardly any votes. In second place with 45 votes, Aliens Colonial Marines. Remember that? Now, I didn't play that, so I can't comment on that one. But the one that actually won with 77 votes is Ride to Hell Retribution. So, Japanese release of Final Fantasy 13-3, November 21st, 2013. Anyways, but yeah. I mean, it's my worst game too. Of course it is. But again, that's cheating. So I was like, okay, what else came out that year that I really didn't like? Well, there was the Star Trek game. You remember that one? The one based off of the 2009 film? I actually streamed some of that. We also had the SimCity game, which was mentioned on the thing. We also had DMC come out, which I really didn't like. In fact, I actively despise DMC. But there's one game that came out, which isn't Ride to Hell Retribution, which is even worse for me. And it came out in 2013, and I have played it. And that game is Final Fantasy All the Bravest. My first Lamentation, I believe. Pretty sure. Best. Let's do best. It's. I mean, if it's not a game, then it's Ride to Hell Retribution. All right, so best game of 2013: Total War Rome 2, Sonic: The Lost World, Injustice: Gods Among Us, Europa Universalis 4, which I disagree with because when it launched, it was crap. Remember, I actually played EU4 when it launched, and I put it down for like 8 years, or 6 years, or 5 years, or something. A long time, basically. Tomb Raider, the reboot. StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm. Legend of Zelda, A Link Between Worlds. Oh, this is kind of a spread. So that's, what is that, 6th? So then 5th place is Papers, Please. That doesn't surprise me, but wow. That's a game I will never play again and couldn't finish because it was affecting me so much. Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, 21 votes. My favorite AC game. BioShock Infinite at 3rd place, 27 votes. Grand Theft Auto 5. Second place. 33 votes. And it's funny, by this point, I kind of hate GTA 5, but mostly because of GTA Online. GTA 5 is still a really, really, really good game, and I hope to showcase that when we get to the HD lore run. At number 1, though, the one at the very top with 54 votes, quite a bit of a lead, is The Last of Us. A game I didn't like, so I can't comment on that. Now, if you'll forgive me, I want to list all the games that came out in 2013 that I rather liked, which include, but are not limited to, Ni no Kuni, which nobody listed, Metal Gear Solid Revengeance, which was surprisingly enjoyable, StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm. 2013 is also the year Civilization 5 became my favorite 4X game. That's when Brave New World came out. Mario & Luigi 4 Dream Team, which is one of my favorite Mario & Luigi games. DuckTales Remastered, which despite the name is actually a remake. In fact, I would argue is a proper remake of DuckTales. We also had Bioshock Infinite, that was mentioned. Pokemon X and Y, which was okay, but I still enjoyed it. Rogue Legacy, one of my favorite roguelites, came out in 2013. Star Trek Online became good in 2013. That was when the Legacy of Romulus expansion went out. Final Fantasy XIV became good in 2013. That's when ARR happened. Then we have Grand Theft Auto 5, Assassin's Creed 4, Legend of Zelda: The Link Between Worlds, Super Mario 3D World, and a game nobody else listed, Saints Row 4, my personal favorite Saints Row game. Can I just say 2013 was a hell of a year for gaming. My God. And I want you to remember that, by the way. I'm going to get to a point later. So, 2014. Let's go ahead and do 2014. I think so, Slim Jim Report. So, Witcher 3 came out in 2015. 2014. Worst game of 2014. What do we got here? All right, results. Elder Scrolls Online, when it launched, yep. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, haven't played it. Assassin's Creed Unity, haven't played it. SimCity Build It, I actually have played that. It's a mobile game, it's crap. Civilization Beyond Earth, which I don't agree with being that bad, but it was very disappointing, especially considering I wanted, Alpha Centauri, and what I got was that. FIFA 2015, and Sims 4, also known as worse than Sims 3 in every way, even to this very day. Top 4 for negatives, for worsts. Assassin's Creed Unity, again. Whoops, that's a repeat, sorry. So Assassin's Creed Unity, which is actually technically higher than that. Sonic Boom, The Rise of Lyric. I'll come back to that. Kim Kardashian Hollywood, that's apparently a video game. And Rambo the video game, which I have never played. So Rambo the video game won. For you guys. For me, well, Civilization Beyond Earth, that was mentioned. Sonic Boom, which is honestly almost as bad. Like it's in a level of bad with Ride to Hell Retribution. It's not as bad as Ride to Hell Retribution, but it's in the same bracket. And I know people meme about it. Seriously, look into Sonic Boom. It is a not good game. I don't know if they've patched it to fix it, but whatever. But none of those are my pick for the worst game of 2014. You know what the worst game of 2014 is for me? Clash of Clans. For those of you not aware, Clash of Clans, which came out in 2014, made $654,000 a day. It was arguably the beginning of what we are at now with regards to mobile gaming. Some of you may have seen the Jim Sterling video on most impacting game of the decade, and he picked Clash of Clans. And I agree completely. The impact Clash of Clans has had at basically starting the MOBA age is insane and has had so much influence on so many aspects of the industry. So my worst game of 2014 is Clash of Clans. Anyways, moving on. Best game 2014. Well, surely some good games came out there here, right? Let's find out. So we've got Child of Light. No votes, come on. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which is good. Assassin's Creed Unity. Goat Simulator. Watch Dogs, which is okay. FF13 3. That should be in the last year, but whatever. Hearthstone. Hyrule Warriors. Transistor. Dark Souls 2. Bayonetta 2. Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. Shovel Knight. South Park Stick of Truth. And your guys' pick for the best game of 2014 with 26% of the votes, Dragon Age Inquisition. That surprises me. I really didn't think you guys would pick that. Now, I gotta share something here. So, I actually had a lot of games that came out in 2014 that I enjoyed. South Park Stick of Truth, Dark Souls 2. Yeah, I actually like Dark Souls 2. It's the only Dark Souls game I like. Yoshi's New Island came out in the 3DS. SteamWorld Dig came out that year. Half Minute Hero 2, Child of Light, Mario Kart 8, Divinity Original Sin came out. Telltale's Wolf Among Us came out 2014. Walking Dead Season 2, which I actually liked. Hyrule Warriors, which I rather enjoyed. Little Big Planet 3, which needs more attention. Pokemon Oros, which I played recently. Diablo 3 became good. That's when Reaper of Souls came out. Shadow of Mordor came out that year, and Bayonetta 2 came out that year. But there's two games that came out that really worked for me best in 2014, and those are Shovel Knight and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, both of which are among my favorite 2D platformers of all time. Yeah, I'm surprised nobody voted for Child of Light. Worst game of 2015. Star Wars Uprising, no votes. Honor of Kings, no votes. Life is Strange, 8 votes. FIFA. Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, 17 votes. Evolve, 19 votes. The Order 1886, oh, come on guys, 35 votes. And number one with 46% of the votes, Star Wars Battlefront EA. That doesn't surprise me. Battlefront EA 2 at least tried to become a good game. To my knowledge, the first one never bothered. But I never played it, so I couldn't list this one. I did play Sonic Lost World, which was not good. I did play Grey Goo, which I actively didn't like. Clash of Clans made $1.35 billion in 2015, but I couldn't pick that. No, the one I picked was something that was actually already on the list. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which is a mobile game. A MOBAGE game, I should be more clear, sorry. Do you know there's like 3 concurrent MOBAGE games right now for Star Wars? 3. And those are the only ones I know about, and I've played all 3 of them. Best game of 2015. Is... Okay, so... Magicka 2, no votes. Yoshi's Woolly World, no votes. Lego Dimensions, no votes. Mortal Kombat X, no votes. Hyrule Warriors, 1 vote. Splatoon, 1 vote. Fate Grand Order, 1 vote. Cities Skylines, 1 vote. Ouch. Sunless Sea, haven't played that yet, 1 vote. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, 1 vote. Pillars of Eternity 1, 3 votes. StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, 3 votes. Ori and the Blind Forest, 7 votes. No, we're on 2015. Aren't we? Hang on. Yeah, no, we're on 15. We're on 15. We just did worst of 15. Now we're doing best of 15. I'm right. Throwing me off here. Life is Strange, 8 votes. Undertale, 30 votes. Bloodborne, 42 votes. And 122 votes for Witcher 3. The spread is ridiculous. Witcher 3 has 55% of all votes. Of course, Witcher 3 won the best game of 2015. It won my favorite game of 2015 too, because of course it did. Then I misspoke. We're on 15. However, I do have to give special shoutouts because this is the year that gave us Ori and the Blind Forest, Crypt of the Necrodancer, Cities Skylines, Axiom Verge, Magicka, SteamWorld Heist, Fallout Shelter, also known as the only good mobile game in the last decade. That's an exaggeration. Shadowrun Hong Kong, Satellite Rain, Super Mario Maker, Undertale. It's also when it's the final time When Guild Wars 2 finally became good, that's when Heart of Thorns came out. Octodad, Deadliest Catch, good. Just Cause 3, I'm actually hurt nobody mentioned that one. And StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, also Pillars of Eternity 1, and Fallout 4. Good year for games, but no, it's Witcher 3. I have to give it to Witcher 3. I don't even like the gameplay of Witcher 3, and it's still my favorite game of 2015. Moving on. 2016. Worst of 2016. We have Titanfall 2? Really? 2 votes. Crash Royale, don't actually know what that is, 4 votes. Zero Time Dilemma, 4 votes. Overwatch, 13 votes. FIFA. Mighty Number 9 with 55 votes. And No Man's Sky at launch with 76 votes. As for my own pick, what was this? We're up to 16? Yep. Right? 16? Yes. There were 3 games I played in 2016 I didn't like. Hearts of Iron 4. I'm sorry, I don't like Hearts of Iron 4. I Am Setsuna, which was a massive disappointment. But no. Even No Man's Sky can't actually accomplish the height and aggravation of Mighty Number 9. We beat that game on stream. You remember that? God, what a crap game that was. It was like someone didn't actually understand what makes a Mega Man game good, so they made that. And what's funny is the developers have made some really excellent games. I have played Overwatch, yes, quite a bit. Again, I've streamed Overwatch quite a bit. Oh, I'm sorry, Max Time. I'll be willing to give you Sonic Lost World. I will not give you Sonic Boom. I will absolutely not give you Mighty Number 9. Screw Mighty Number 9. It also committed, in my opinion, it committed the cardinal sin of a Mega Man game. It was boring. So, best of 2016. 2016 was a good year for gaming. So, we have Ratchet & Clank, which was PS4, Total War Warhammer, Civilization 6 came out, World of Final Fantasy, Hearts of Iron 4, Dragon Quest Builders 1, The Last Guardian, Pokemon Go, no I do not, Melkor Blade, Dishonored 2, Final Fantasy 15, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Stellaris, these are pretty spread, so we've got, what is this, 5th? No, it's 6th, Stellaris, and then Uncharted, and then XCOM 2, and then Stardew Valley, and then Doom 4, and then on top with 46 votes is Dark Souls 3. That is a hell of a spread between Dark Souls 3 and Stellaris. That is a big spread there. But Dark Souls 3 wins it for Game of the Year for 2016 for you guys. For me, well, give me a moment here. So 2016 had Final Fantasy 15, World of Final Fantasy, Paper Mario Color Splash, which was one of those great story, bad gameplay games for me, Metroid Prime Federation Force, which was not good, but not terrible, Star Fox Zero, a great game with terrible controls, Dark Souls 3, which I didn't like, Rocket League, Stellaris, Shantae Half Genie Hero came out that year, along with Watch Dogs 2, Minecraft Story Mode, which I actually really liked, Tales of Berseria, Master of Orion 3 came out that year, one of my favorite Space 4X games ever, Kirby Planet Robobot, one of the better Kirby games we've ever had, Quantum Break, which is a game I never would have looked at if not for the Rumination, but it surprised me by how good it was. The Division 1, also known as the game that if I could just give a quick opinion, because I don't think I've talked about The Division on camera, I actually like The Division a lot. Now, it's one of those games that was patched into goodness, but it is still a surprisingly enjoyable game if you're playing it with a friend, which I was. Friends, actually, in my case. I played Division 2 with friends, too, and all of us were just kind of meh on Division 2. Division 2 was just kind of, didn't really hit the same notes. But Division 1, there was some good gameplay in there. Good stuff. Dragon Quest Builders, Homeworld Deserts of Karak, that came out in 2016. Civilization 6, Pokemon Sun and Moon, Uncharted 4, my personal favorite Uncharted game, Titanfall 2, Stardew Valley, and a game that I think I'm the only person who actually liked, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, all came out in 2016. But there are 4 games I haven't mentioned, which are effectively tied for my favorite game of the year. Oh, I agree, Cubic Skull. When every now and again the storm in Division 1 would hit so hard, you literally can't see more than 20 feet in front of your face. It's great. Anyways, so best game of 2016, World of Warcraft Legion. Kind of cheating, because it's WoW, so we'll move on from that. XCOM 2, also a little bit cheating, because the expansion's what really made that great. Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which was a little short and had a few issues, but I was really impressed with that game. I really liked Mankind Divided a lot. But if I had to give it to one, I'd give it to Dishonored 2, which is a really, really, really well-designed game with an interesting and engaging storyline going under it. I love the crap out of Dishonored 2. Holy crap. Oh, great, great year for games, in my opinion. Lots of fantastic stuff there. You know, you have an emote, Platty, that you can use instead of that. So, 2017. Let's go ahead and shuffle over here. We're getting close here, guys. We're almost done. Worst game of 2017. We've got Middle Earth Shadow of War, Call of Duty World War II, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Mafia City, Sonic Forces, PUBG, FIFA, 1-2 Switch, Fortnite, which came out in 2017 apparently. And then the 2 ones are almost tied. We've got in number 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2 EA. And Mass Effect Andromeda. For my own list of worst of 2017, we had Kingdom Hearts 2.8. No, I'm kidding. Mass Effect Andromeda. No, the one, what I want to pick as my least favorite game of 2017 is loot boxes. Some of you may not remember this, but that's when the loot box thing went from being an issue to an overwhelming explosion of ridiculous. Star Wars Battlefront 2 EA is the specific game that started garnering enormous amounts of attention to loot boxes. It's when it broke out of the gaming industry, to gaming circle, and started going all over the place. Loot boxes had been around before that. Overwatch came out before that, after all, and there's games that did it before Overwatch, but that was the year when it exploded. Let's talk about good stuff. What good came out in 2017? Let's push through this here. What do we got? Splatoon 2, Night in the Woods? What is that? A Hat in Time. Life is Strange Before the Storm. Sonic Mania, hell yeah. Middle Earth Shadow of War. South Park The Fractured Yet Whole. Total War Warhammer 2. Cuphead came out that year. Assassin's Creed Origins. Super Mario Odyssey. Hollow Knight. And then for our top 5, in 5th we have Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. Just ahead of it we have Nier Automata. Just ahead of that we have Horizon Zero Dawn. And then almost tied for first we have Persona 5 in the number 2 slot. And Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the number 1 slot. To go over my own list for 2017, so we have SteamWorld Dig 2, which I've already propped, Breath of the Wild, Metroid Samus Returns came out that year, Total War Warhammer 2, Shadow of War. This is when XCOM 2 became amazing, by the way. This is when War of the Chosen came out, so that's on the list. Regalia of Men and Monarchs came out in 2017, and while that was a flawed game, I still enjoyed it all the way through. Blaster Master Zero came out in 2017, a game that I need to plug more, and in fact, I need to add to the vault so I can convince you guys to pay me to play it. They've had a Blaster Master Zero 2 at this point, which I haven't even touched because of this. But there were 3 games that came out in 2017 that are absolutely top of the list for me. I have trouble picking between these. One of them is Horizon Zero Dawn. Really, enough said. One of them is Divinity Original Sin 2, which I've already talked about how much I love that as an RPG. And the third one, which actually probably takes my best game of 2017, is Super Mario Odyssey. I know, you hate me. I'm sorry, that game is joy in video game format. And it is brilliantly designed on top of that. It might actually be, it's actually in the vault, Papanix. It might actually be one of the better designed 3D platformers in history. But let's move on to 2018. 2018, here we go. FIFA. Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery. Don't know what that is, unless that's the Mobage game, in which case, never mind. Battlefield 5 came out that year. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. FIFA 2019. The Quiet Man. Command & Conquer Rivals. That would be the Mobage Command & Conquer game. But all of those equal up to about 25% of the votes, because the other 75% all go to Fallout 76. And you know what? It's hard to argue that one. Looking at my own list. Now, I haven't played Fallout 76, so that gets like a special mention from me. But I do have a list of the worst games of 2018. The first is Fortnite's impact on the industry. 2018 is not when Fortnite came out. However, 2018 is when it started shoving through the industry and has continued to do so up until now, basically. By the way, Mobage games had been absolutely smashing, financial records. Honor of Kings, Dungeon Fighter Online, League of Legends, and Pokemon Go had used to be like the kings after Clash of Clans started everything. Fortnite made $2.4 billion in 2018 alone. $2.4 billion. However, if I had to pick an actual worst game of 2018, well, we have Octopath Traveler. Yes, I didn't like that game. We have Assassin's Creed Odyssey. By all accounts, they have patched several of my issues with ACO, so that's... or ICO, excuse me. So, in order to actually pick the worst of 2018, I'm going to go with Dissidia NT, which I also streamed and reviewed. By this point, we're at the point where I was actually using my current review system. And Dissidia NT is garbage, in my opinion. Moving on. Did any good games come out in 2018? Let's find out. Let's see what your guys' results are. So, we have Surviving Mars with 2 votes. Darksiders 3 with 2 votes. Detroit Become Human, which is 5 votes. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is 6 votes. Celeste, which is 9 votes. Monster Hunter World, which is 14 votes. Dragon Quest XI, which is 17 votes. Super Smash Ultimate, which is 20 votes. Marvel Spider-Man PS4, which is 28. Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is 32. And way in the lead is God of War 4 with 70 votes. So you guys picked God of War 4 as your favorite of the year. Here's the thing. Here's my list for 2018. We have Frostpunk, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, Vampire, Detroit Become Human, South Park, The Fractured Yet Whole, Kirby Star Allies, Warhammer Vermintide 2, Kingdom Come Deliverance, and Red Dead Redemption 2. All of those games came out in 2018. But there's 5 games that are basically tied for me in terms of overall quality that came out in 2018. God of War 4, Pillars of Eternity 2, Yakuza 0, Dragon Quest XI, and Spider-Man PS4. All 5 of these are knock-it-out-of-the-park games, in my opinion. Every single one of these. This is fantastic stuff. Again, 2018 was a pretty damn good year for gaming, I think. Which brings us to 2019. What was the worst game of 2019? Sorry. So we have Left Alive with 1 vote, Crackdown 3 with 1 vote. How many of you forgot that it existed until I said something? Harry Potter Wizards Unite with 3 votes. Pokemon Sword and Shield, oh come on, with 3 votes. Jump Force, don't know what that is, with 9 votes. WWE 2020, which by all counts is actual drivel, 11 votes. Raid Shadow Legends, Mobage, 20 votes. Wolfenstein Youngblood, haven't played that yet, 25 votes. And way out in front, with 97 votes, frickin' Anthem. And I'm just going to say, yeah, that's mine too. Of all of the things I've played this year. And remember, I beat Anthem. I played it all the way through. Anthem is total garbage. Also, WoW Classic came out this year, so that's the other worst game of the year. Anyway, so, best game of the year for 2019. I forget console hot. It's listed in the document. I actually wrote down how many crashes I got. It was something like a crash every 30 minutes or something like that. I'm making fun with WoW Classic. I'm making fun. Oh, wow. So the best for 2019, this is spread. This is spread. Okay, so Rome Imperator, 0 votes. Age of Wonders Planetfall, 0 votes. Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, I need to buy that, 0 votes. Teamfight Tactics, I don't know what that is, 0 votes. Terminator Resistance, 0 votes. One Finger Death Punch, 0 votes. Luigi's Mansion 3, haven't played it yet, 1 vote. Code Vein, haven't played it yet, 2 votes. Borderlands 3, not playing it until it comes out on a real PC, 2 votes. Pokemon Sword and Shield, it was alright, but it wasn't Game of the Year, 2 votes. Slay the Spire, don't know what that is, 2 votes. Untitled Goose Game, I'm glad this got as few votes as it did, 3 votes. Baba Is You, don't know what that is, 6 votes. Dragon Quest Builders 2, 8 votes. Control, which I haven't played and won't until it comes out. The epic problem is starting to come up here. 9 votes. Kingdom Hearts 3. So hang on. Where's Kingdom Hearts 3? Right there. Yep. So all of that is basically nothing. From Kingdom Hearts 3 all the way up to looks like 4th place. These are all basically tied. So Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers, Devil May Cry 5, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and Disco Elysium are all basically tied for 4th. Top 3, number 3, with 27, Outer Worlds. Number 2, with 31, Resident Evil 2 Remake. And number 1, just like the actual Game of the Year awards, Sekiro with 35 votes. I'm a little surprised by that. Now, I've been listing huge lists of games. The problem is, I actually haven't played a lot of games that came out in 2019 because of my schedule. So of my list, I have Kingdom Hearts 3, Days Gone, Resident Evil 2 Remake, and those are all good games. Good games. But my game of the year... I'm just going to hesitate here. I'm curious if anyone can guess it. My game of the year is Dragon Quest Builders 2. It is an extremely rare thing that I want to keep playing a game off camera, and I want to keep playing a game when I am done with the review, when I'm done with the stream. Dragon Quest Builders 2 had some pretty significant story issues, but I loved that game. Oh, I did play DMC5 this year. That's also good. It doesn't beat DQB2, but DMC5 did also... Wait, DMC5 came out last year? Make up your mind, dude. Anyways, why didn't I like Sekiro? That's a complex answer. Basically, I didn't enjoy it, even though it was good. Put it to you in that terminology. Oh, you mean... Someone go stab Hazardous for me, please. Anyways, so yeah, lots of really good games. Which brings us to our final 3 categories. I'm actually adding a new category, and then we'll be done with this, I swear. Category number 1, worst game of the decade is Ride to Hell Retribution. No, worst game of the decade. Pull this up here. Let's see what you voted for. Overwatch with 0 votes. Halo 5 with 1 vote. Sonic Free Riders with 1 vote. Mighty Number 9 with 1 vote. Dragon Age 2 with 2 votes. Dawn of War 3 with 2 votes. WWE 2020, excuse me, with 3 votes. Death Stranding with 5 votes. The Quiet Man, again, 5 votes. And in fourth worst game of the decade, Mass Effect 3. Just ahead of it, third worst game of the decade, Anthem. At 45 votes, second worst game of the decade, Right to Hell Retribution. And the worst game of the decade, per your guys' vote, is Fallout 76 with 89 votes. I don't even have to pick. It's Right to Hell Retribution for me. And I've played all the way through Anthem, and I've played all the way through Right to Hell Retribution. RTHR is awful. Which brings me to the best game of the decade. This is another full category thing, so let me work on this one. So, best game of the decade. Sonic Generations, no votes. Sonic Colors, no votes. Ori and the Blind Forest, no votes. Super Mario Odyssey, no votes. Really? Sonic Mania, no votes. Transistor, no votes. Control, no votes. Goat Simulator, 1 vote. Assassin's Creed 4, 1 vote. Assassin's Creed Origins, 1 vote. Diablo 3, 1 vote. Zelda Skyward Sword, really? 1 vote. Journey, 2 votes. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, really? 2 votes. StarCraft 2 as an aggregate, 2 votes. Kingdom Come Deliverance, 3 votes. Dragon Quest 11, 4 votes. Stellaris, 4 votes. God of War 4, 5 votes. Skyrim, 8 votes. Minecraft, 9 votes. Breath of the Wild, 10 votes. Nier Automata, 11 votes. Persona 5, 13 votes. Undertale, 14 votes. Dark Souls 1, 15 votes. Bloodborne at number 3 with 34 votes. Mass Effect 2 at number 2 with 35 votes, and to absolutely no one's surprise, Witcher 3, 79 votes. Absolutely curb-stomping everything else on the list. This is my shocked face. You know? Color me shocked. That would be Pendulum Effect, Malachor. And for my own best game, I mean, Dragon Quest Builders 2 is way up there. God of War 4 is way up there. Mario Odyssey is way up there. StarCraft 2, all 3, is way up there. You got it, Slim Jim Reborn. If I can remember where I put your name. There you are. Boop. I have trouble saying Witcher 3 is my favorite game of the decade. But I kind of have to. The reason I have so much issue doing that, it doesn't have anything to do with pendulum effect or popularity or whatever. It is entirely because of the fact that I don't enjoy the combat. I have to stress that, actually. I was misspeaking earlier. Combat, gameplay, they're not exactly the same thing. Gameplay, there's actually some good gameplay. There's some good quest design, there's some good layout, there's some good crafting, there's good enemy design, there's good dungeon layout, you know, all the aspects of gameplay. There's some good stuff there. I just really didn't like the combat, and I will never play that game without cheating again. But, God, just all of that crap. There was so much really, really good story there. Holy God. But no, it's actually Goat Simulator. Now, so here's my final question to you guys. This is actually the end of this stream. God, we've been streaming for a while. I knew this would take a while. I had this scheduled. I was ready for this. What do you think is the best year for gaming of the last decade? This is one of the reasons, and I mentioned this, because as I was going through that list and I was mentioning games, like 2018 gave us Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War 4, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Warhammer Vermintide 2, you know, Pillars of Eternity 2, Yakuza 0, Dragon Quest 11, PS4. Hang on. Everyone shut up. Stop. I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have just asked the question. I'm so stupid. Let me do this. I'm going to have to do a new straw poll, aren't I? That's okay. I'm going to do a new straw poll really quick. I actually meant to have this set up last night, and then my power went out for 5 hours. Oh, come on. And now straw poll isn't loading. You gotta be kidding me with this. There we go. Okay, okay. So, best year for gaming. Here we go. Boop. There you go. So, let's see here. 2010. We had StarCraft 2, Mario Galaxy 2, Mass Effect 2, Assassin's Creed 2, Mega Man 10, Red Dead Redemption, 3D Dot Heroes, Octodad. 2011 had Little Big Planet 2, Bionic Commando 2 Rearmed, Pokemon Black and White, Dissidia Duodecim, Bastion, Deus Ex Human Revolution, Arkham City, Sonic Generations, Assassin's Creed Revelations, Portal 2, Minecraft, and Skyrim. 2012, excuse me, had Kingdoms of Amalur, Tales of the Abyss, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, FTL, Mists of Pandaria, Black and White 2, XCOM Enemy Unknown, New Super Mario Bros. U, Borderlands 2, Telltale Walking Dead Season 1, Dishonored, and Journey. 2013 had Ni no Kuni, Revengeance, Heart of the Swarm, Civ 5, Mario & Luigi 4, DuckTales Remastered, Saints Row 4, Bioshock Infinite, GTA 5, Pokemon X and Y, Assassin's Creed 4, Mario 3D World, Link Between Worlds, Rogue Legacy, Star Trek Online, and FF14. 2014 had Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, South Park Stick of Truth, Dark Souls 2, Yoshi's New Island, SteamWorld Dig, Half Minute Hero 2, Child of Light, Mario Kart 8, Divinity Original Sin, Telltale's Wolf Among Us, Walking Dead Season 2, Hyrule Warriors, Pokemon Oros, Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls, Shovel Knight, Shadow of Mordor, and Bayonetta 2. 2015 had Witcher 3, Ori and the Blind Forest, Crypt of the Necrodancer, Cities of Skylines, Axiom Verge, Magicka, SteamWorld Heist, Fallout Shelter, Shadowrun Hong Kong, Super Mario Maker, Undertale, Guild Wars 2, Heart of Thorns, Octodad, Deadliest Catch, Just Cause 3, StarCraft 2, Legacy of the Void, Fallout 4, and Pillars of Eternity 1. 2016 had Uncharted 4, Titanfall 2, Stardew Valley, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, Dishonored 2, WoW Legion, Pokemon Sun and Moon, Civilization 6, Homeworld Deserts of Karak, Dragon Quest Builders 1, XCOM 2, The Division 1, Quantum Break, Kirby Planet Robobot, Master of Orion 3, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Tales of Berseria, Minecraft Story Mode, Watch Dogs 2, Shantae Half Genie Hero, Stellaris, Rocket League, Dark Souls 3, Star Fox Zero, Paper Mario Color Splash, World of Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy 15. 2017 had SteamWorld Dig 2, Breath of the Wild, the Switch, Divinity Original Sin 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, Super Mario Odyssey, Metroid Samus Returns, Total War Warhammer 2, Middle-earth Shadow of War, XCOM 2, War of the Chosen, Regalia of Mina Monarchs, and Blaster Master 0. 2018 gave us Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War 4, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Warhammer Vermintide 2, Star Kirby Allies, South Park Fractured, However Whole, Pillars of Eternity 2, Detroit Become Human, Vampire, Yakuza 0, Dragon Quest 11, Spider-Man PS4, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, and Frostpunk. And last year gave us Resident Evil 2 Remake, Kingdom Hearts 3, Days Gone, Dragon Quest Builders 2, and Devil May Cry 5. Okay, I gotta be honest. Those of you who are picking 2010, why? Real question. That's not even in the running for me. I've got like 3 I'm battling between. I'm actually curious. No judgment. I'm just curious. That's part of the joke, Cody. Yes. I mean, there was New Vegas. 2010 had New Vegas, StarCraft 2, Galaxy 2, Mass Effect 2, Assassin's Creed 2, Mega Man 10, Red Dead Redemption. It's good games. But like I said, that's not even in the running for me. I'm torn between 2013... 2016... and 2018. Those are the 3 I'm debating between. What do you think about that? Ride to Hell Retribution was... 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 2016. 20 2013. However, 2013 also gave me Ni no Kuni, Metal Gear Solid Revengeance, StarCraft 2, The Heart of the Swarm, Civilization 5, Brave New World, Mario & Luigi 4, DuckTales Remastered, Saints Row 4. You know, I'm just going to list the best. Saints Row 4, GTA 5, Assassin's Creed 4, Super Mario 3D World, and Link Between Worlds. All of that came out in 2013. No, I'm decided. I know what I'm picking. Sure, I'll do a Twitch straw poll, because actually there have been issues with straw poll. Like, actual issues. Like, you may have noticed that vote right now is not under my name, you know, the lore runner, because I have an account with straw poll. It's because I haven't been physically capable of logging in to straw poll in about a month. Pretty much halfway through when I was setting all this crap up, actually. Thanks for that. Here, new vote. Let's see if I can even add this many. Okay, good news and bad news. I can only allow 5 options. So, I'm gonna add the top 5 from the straw poll. Cool? Cool. Set it for 3 minutes. Boop. There. Poll's up. But yeah, I've already picked mine. I know what I'm picking. Look, I'm not the one who designs Twitch polls, okay? Don't look at me. I noticed 2010 isn't winning anything whatsoever. Oh no, there's 2 votes for it now. That's suspicious. What came out in 2015? Let's see, where's my 2015 list? 2015. Witcher 3. Ori and the Blind Forest, Crypt of the Necrodancer, City Skylines. It's alright. I mean, it gave us Undertale, I guess. So, if we go by the straw poll, the winner is 2010. By a absolutely stupid percentage. Like, over almost half of you voted for that, so... 2010, best year in gaming, for some frickin' reason. Got about a minute left to vote on the current one. So, I'm going to go ahead and tell you my pick. I've been thinking about this. Like I said, I was choosing between 3. But ultimately, I decided to give it to 2018. Maybe I'm biased because I got to play a lot of great games in 2018, but 2018 gave us some absolutely phenomenal games. Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War 4, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Pillars of Eternity 2, Detroit Become Human, Yakuza 0, Dragon Quest 11, Spider-Man PS4, Frostpunk, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. I'm not even talking about, like, good games. These are all excellent games. Hang on, I gotta find my own link now. There it is. Oop. Yeah, no, 2010 is still winning by an absolute mile in the straw poll. And poll ended. View results. Ladies and gentlemen, the win barely by your thing is 2018. The one I picked. By the way, I went ahead and opened up saying that because when I said that, when I said 2018 was my pick, 2018 and 2011 were actually tied. And I was like, okay. But you guys picked 2018, barely, bidding out 2011, and then 2017, 2010, and 2012. What came out in 2011? Where's 2011? What came out in 2011? Minecraft, I guess. Oh, Skyrim, too. And Portal 2. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is our decade in memoriam. We've had a lot of Drek, but part of the reason I wanted to do this, other than the obvious reasons, is I wanted to remember that we've actually had a lot of really good stuff in the last 10 years.
Oh, welcome. Pay close attention. Hopefully you'll learn something.
I know you guys probably don't agree with me and you think I'm awful and terrible. However, like I said, I do think we've had a surprisingly good decade. For all the Drek and for all the mobage and for all the garbage that we have to deal with, it's been a pretty good decade. So, some good stuff. Thank you, Dragonheart, for the $5 for Halo Wars. Much appreciated, as always. I'll put that right here. There we go. So, who's up from FF9? No, I'm kidding. I'm going to go ahead and chop off the local recording.